Hypocrisy.
YouTube's consequence is we don't want you on here, and I agree with that consequence.
Do you flag videos like that often?
I'll flag stuff if it's like hate speech, like legitimate people saying let's kill blacks.
Fucking God. There you go. What's up, guys? Welcome to Law-splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And today we're gonna open talking about fucking principles and the fact that they don't fucking exist on social media, and it's so goddamn disheartening. It is so fucking irritating. Listen to this.
YouTube's consequence is we don't want you on here, and I agree with that consequence.
This is the champion. This is the champion of free speech today. This is him. This is him being lauded by everybody. Everybody's so fucking happy that a fat fucking moron went to Netflix studios and got attacked by a bunch of other fat fucking morons. And somehow that makes this person who routinely opposes free speech into free speech's fucking savior, hero, whatever you want to call him. This person is garbage. An absolute garbage liar. He's LARPing on the issue, and everybody's just like, I don't care. It's fine because it was good today. It's fine that he goes after people on the regular. His own admission, he does this on the regular. It's just fine, though. Vito really got him today. What did he show the trans community? How did he teach them? What lesson did they learn? What lesson are they going to learn from Vito? None. But we're all going to sit here and pretend that he isn't in that mob every other day of the year. Every single day of the year, except today, Vito is in the mob canceling Dave Chappelle. Every other day, he's canceling people over hate speech. Oh, truly hateful speech. Oh, my goodness. Well, what is that? That's what Dave Chappelle did, right? That's why Dave Chappelle's speech needs to be protected, by the way, because it's hate speech to someone. That's why we're protecting it. That's why we want it. That's why we want the speech, because it's easy to allow happy speech. It's easy to allow agreeable speech. It's hard to allow hate. It's hard to allow venom, vile, vitriol, profanity, crudity. It's hard to allow those things because they make us uncomfortable. And every fucking day of the year, Vito sucks the dick of censorship every day. Every single day, he is on the side of this, including today. It's just that today he likes Dave Chappelle. That's it. And everybody around, all of the fucking parasites, including myself in that description, by the way, before you accuse me of being a hypocrite, all of the social media parasites, we all just pretend that none of that matters anymore, that it doesn't matter, that Vito would do this to someone else tomorrow, today, yesterday, that he has done it openly, that he'd do it again. If you think that's all the Vito shit we've got, I've got 5 fucking clips for you motherfuckers. We're going to be watching 5 different segments of the Dick Show argument I had with Vito. Just a little snippet here and there. Remind people who's on the side of free speech. Remind people who's not, because Vito isn't. He's not the poster boy you want. First of all, those posters, the paper, if you printed a picture of Vito on the paper, the poster would weigh 9 pounds. But that's a whole separate thing. That's a separate issue. You don't want Vito to be the poster boy for freedom because he doesn't believe in it. And to have this, and to have everybody being like, well, I don't like Vito, but no, there's no but. There's no but on this. This would be the same as if, like, Rosie fucking O'Donnell had a good take. So who cares? Like when Oprah Winfrey was right about Ray Rice, right? Yeah, maybe women shouldn't be attacking men who are twice their size and spitting on them and hitting on them. Yeah, that's great, Oprah. Everything else, or not Oprah, fucking Whoopi Goldberg. Everything else you said is stupid. We don't need to listen to you. We don't need Whoopi Goldberg, by the way, suddenly being a proponent for men's rights because she had one right take on Ray Rice. That'd be ludicrous. That'd be insane. That's what we're doing. That's what's going on. And the crazy thing is, I'm seeing it from people who are routinely threatened with cancellation. People who Vito would cancel. It drives me nuts. There's no need to laud him for his wonderful epic own. By the way, what he did was go somewhere and get attacked. Great. Okay. Good job. Oh my God. It's gonna be a little bit of a long night. I'm not gonna go through all of the Twitter drama I've been in today. If you want to go through Twitter drama, you can. But had a back and forth with Andy Singor. Andy Singor, notably someone who was canceled, right? Notably someone who was canceled over bogus allegations about his actions. Was canceled from his job. Was canceled from his YouTube career and had to rebuild. In fact, one of the first shows that Andy came on, it might have been the first show that Andy came on to relaunch his sort of rehabilitation, was this show. I was happy to support him. False accusations should not bring people down, should not cancel people. In fact, cancellation just shouldn't be a thing in general. But it happened to Andy. Was happy to have him on. And today, fully defends Vito wanting to cancel Friday Night Tights because they had Alex Jones on, which Vito now says he didn't. Oh, he didn't mean that. Well, we'll go to the tape on that one. We'll go to the tape. But Vito tried to cancel Friday Night Tights because they had Alex Jones on. And even if he wouldn't try to cancel Friday Night Tights tomorrow, because maybe he learned his lesson, he still would try to cancel. He would still try to cancel Alex Jones. And by the way, what I learned today that made me the most depressed is that so would Andy Signor. Andy Signor would cancel Alex Jones today over what he said and has retracted about the Sandy Hook shooting in 2012. These people all believe in censorship. They just don't want themselves censored. None of these people want themselves censored, but they believe in the consequences for everybody else, and that is insane. By the way, I'll mildly point out that's a straw man argument to say that Alex Jones should be canceled over Sandy Hook. I mean, maybe you believe that, but Alex Jones was not canceled over Sandy Hook. Alex Jones, Sandy Hook was in 2012, by the way. Alex Jones was canceled in 2018 for dehumanizing transgender people, Muslims, and immigrants. Does that sound familiar? Because Dave Chappelle didn't say Sandy Hook was a hoax. But what they're saying about Dave Chappelle's stand-up act, Sticks and Stones and The Closer, kind of sounds like the same thing Alex Jones was canceled for. I mean, what do I know? I'm quoting the platforms that canceled him. I mean, maybe they had a different reason. I've been told today that I can't know what's in someone's head. But when I brought up the fact that that's what the platforms who canceled him said, I was told that was, well, if you think it wasn't other stuff, then you're crazy. It's like, well, what is it? Where's the consistency in these arguments? Do we go off of what people say? If we can't know what's in their head. But there are no principles on social media. Let's get a couple things out of the way. let's get a couple things out of the way. There are plenty of people who think that I do not hold principles on social media. There are plenty of people who have pointed out their perceived failures of my principles, and that's fine. They are welcome to do that. I have never been above criticism. And in fact, I get a huge amount of it. Most of it I'll just disagree with passively. Sometimes I'll disagree with it actively. But if people think that I don't adhere to my principles, if you think I'm not immune to the broad headline of there are no principles on social media, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not immune from that. No one's immune from that. It's social media. It's not necessarily us that are the problem. In some cases it is, but it's not necessarily us. It's the environment we're in that we get engrossed in. And this is my criticism. This is my criticism for my compatriots out there who are anti-cancel culture, who are anti-censorship, who are pro-free speech, but who are today supporting someone who does not hold those values in any way. But why are they doing it? It's for the epic own of the other side. That's why they're doing it. They're sacrificing all of their principles, all of the things they believe, to own the libs. And it's the environment that we exist in. It's the way we get paid. It's the good speech dopamine that we get when people say, yeah, man, yeah, get them. That's what drives it. Again, no one's immune to this stuff. But sometimes we're going to call it out, I guess. I'm calling it out today. And let's get one other thing out of the way. I think Vito is a fat fucking pile of garbage. Beyond the free speech issue with Friday Night Tights and Alex Jones, Vito is trash. And I wouldn't sully a broom by sweeping him off of a homeless man's bench. I think he's a garbage person. I think he's been a garbage person for a while. I tried to engage Vito and find him entertaining. I just couldn't. And then the Friday Night Tights thing tipped it off. And then Vito's done some things afterwards that I think are absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. And that involves lying about me. It involves lying about the Vic case. It involves lies about my wife. It involves lies about everything. Again, to get the win. To get the win. And so yeah, we're just not going to make any bones about the fact that I think Vito is worthless trash. So when we talk about this, I don't want anybody to accuse me of some sort of bias. I know there's bias. I don't like him. I think he's scum. So that being said, we're going to go through, though, and we're going to check Vito's record. We're going to check from Vito his record on speech and what he believes about it. And remember, just as we go through these clips, everything we say, everything me, Dick, Sean, Vito from the show, anytime YouTube is mentioned, just replace it with Netflix. Anytime Alex Jones or Friday Night Tights is mentioned, just replace it with Dave Chappelle. Because it's the same fucking argument. It's the exact thing. It's the exact same argument. If you just replace YouTube with Netflix, then Vito will make the argument that Dave Chappelle should be removed for causing harm to trans people, which of course is a ludicrous assertion. Words can't harm. They can't do it. Words don't harm. May hurt your feelings, can't cause you harm. So let's see what we have to say here. And then I'll do, let's get at least some of these clips out of the way. Then I'll do some super chats and then we'll get in. This is not going to be the whole show today. I just want to let people know, this was on my mind immediately when the subject broke this morning. Morning for me, it was early afternoon, I guess. But then, it's been solidifying over the past couple hours as I've been talking to people. And then we'll move on to Melinda's husband. And we may have some legal topics between there as well. There's stuff going on in Kyle Rittenhouse's case. There's stuff going on with qualified immunity. There's just messes happening all over the globe. So we'll do that. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow Drexel, I think, will be on. We may have a very funny guest coming on. I gotta see if I can confirm with the guest. That'll either be tomorrow or Friday. And then Saturday is Flashcast, which will be hosted here. So all right, here we go. Clip number 1. This is again. So when Vito attempted to call attention, we'll say, of Team YouTube to Friday Night Tights on Nerdrotic's channel because they had the audacity of having Alex Jones on, and Vito disagreed with what Alex Jones said. I called out Vito, and then I called into the Dick Show, which would have been 2 days later on Sunday, and we had a little discussion over this stuff. Here we go. Sirurhis, no need to trash Vito, man. That's bad optics. Vito is garbage. Vito has been garbage for a long time. He's a piece of shit. I will absolutely trash him. And I'm going to trash him today, especially. Fuck optics. What optics? This is about consistency. It's about principle. And I'm talking specifically about principles. We're gonna talk about Vito today. Here we go.
So why is he hanging out with the guys who just push fucking absolute lies?
Absolute lies like what?
Vito,
Like
what happened? What did he say?
Liquefies your insides. Did you like when Alex Jones was talking about that?
I didn't watch the show. I don't care what Alex Jones says about the vaccine.
God, dude, forget it. Forget it. You didn't watch
what? Why do you care? Why do you care?
Why do I care when a guy
says about the vaccine?
When a journalist lies? Do you like when journalists lie?
They lie all the time.
So do you like
literally
it?
Constantly?
Do you like it?
It doesn't matter if I like it or not.
It doesn't. So when CNN makes shit up, you go, well, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
I make fun of them.
I go, well, that's CNN.
I don't run to the journalist police to try and get the reporters fired.
Why not? Reporters get fired for lying all the time. You don't think that's good?
I don't care.
You don't think a lying reporter should be fired from their organization?
But they don't. Brian Williams wasn't fired.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So here you go. Here's the intro, right? It's okay. It's okay because some people lie and might get fired. Therefore, it's okay to go after Alex Jones and get him deplatformed, or more appropriately, to go after Nerdrotic and get him deplatformed, because that was the sin. Alex Jones has already been removed. Alex Jones is already off of YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Instagram. He's already off of all of those. Vito's goal was to go after Friday Night Tights because of something Alex Jones said on the show that Vito disagreed with. It was his very, very disagreeable statement about the vaccine. We'll get to more of that in a minute. So here's his post. By the way, he deleted these posts. He has deleted them. He reposted it, and then I think he deleted it again because the man has no fucking principles, no conviction, and he does not believe in free speech. He never has. He never will. It's not something that's in him. His free speech limit is, well, if I don't like it though, then it shouldn't be there. That's how it goes.
Yet. So it's not actually a policy about not lying about the vaccine. That's incorrect. But even if someone goes on and lies about the vaccine, who fucking cares?
I do. Me.
Why? Why does it mean? Why does it
lead to real world consequences?
Misinformation leads to real world consequences, like misinformation about trans people or maybe Asians, right? Or space Jews in the Chappelle special. Now, I don't misunderstand me. I want Dave Chappelle to make a Netflix special every week. I want him to piss off everybody. I don't care. I don't want him deplatformed, but this is the champion. This is today's champion, Vito. Vito the winner. Here it is.
How?
Stop it.
How?
What? You don't think anything said ever led to anyone doing any sort of action? What are you talking about?
It happens all the time that something said leads to some sort of consequence,
So you
but
agree with me?
that doesn't mean that you get to remove someone from saying it,
I'm not. He can say it anywhere,
except on YouTube or anywhere that you're watching.
any platform he wants. The platform has rules, and I agree with the rules.
Platform has rules, and I agree with the rules. If Dave Chappelle gets removed from Netflix, Vito literally has to agree. He has to, because he agrees with the rules of the platform, because he's a cucked bitch, because this is the garbage that is champion of the day. Again, this is insanity to me. How many people are sucking Vito's dick today? I cannot believe it. I can't comprehend it. These people know these positions. He's not secret about them.
The rules are, again, YouTube does not allow content about COVID-19 that poses a serious risk of egregious harm.
How is
What
that a risk of
content is
harm?
that? How's it a risk of harm?
He's saying
Telling
because stupid people listen to
that
him.
The vaccine will liquefy their insides can lead to so many other types of harm. Like
What harm?
Seeking out experimental fucking drugs, just not having the information to make a valuable medical decision for themselves because they've been scared away about the vaccine.
That's not
This is
harm.
just blatant misinformation that leads to harm.
That isn't harm. Not getting vaccinated is not harm.
If they die of it, it sure is.
If they die of COVID,
How is that harm?
How is
COVID
dying
causes the harm.
The lack of Forget
not
it.
wearing your
Look.
seatbelt does not cause harm. I mean, you're not. If I say don't wear your seatbelt, I did not just cause you harm. You
If I
might
make a video that says that seatbelts aren't effective, then yeah, that would also be leading to harm.
It would
I would-
literally cause zero harm.
zero.
Again, this is the champion. He's against causing harm. He's very against causing harm. If you say something that might cause someone harm, what is the argument for Dave Chappelle? Again, the argument for Dave Chappelle is that his words about transgender people causes harm. That's the argument. Vito believes this argument 100%. Just not for Dave Chappelle, though. Just not for Dave Chappelle. Next clip, roll it.
Almost a year. It's not
What did
lying,
he
but what if
make
it
up?
causes harm? What if that
It
causes
doesn't
harm
matter because
somehow?
he didn't make anything up. If he's delivering purely factual information, there's
He's talking about Mr. Girl right now, the guy who did a bunch of videos about how he was attracted to the little girls and cuties that Vito agreed with. That's what he's talking about. And Dick is asking him, wait, what about the cuties shit and Mr. Girl who defended cuties? What if that leads to harm? And Vito says, that's not harm. That's not harm because he said only factual things. The factual things were that he was attracted to children, apparently, but that's okay. That's okay. And by the way, I think Mr. Girl should be allowed on YouTube. I think he's horrifying. I think his takes on cuties are disgusting, but I think he should be allowed on YouTube. Vito thinks he should be allowed on YouTube because Vito agrees Vito is attracted to children, according to Vito. It's Vito who said that. I don't know. Maybe he was joking. I have no idea. I can't know what's in someone's head. However, Dick is asking Vito about Mr. Girl. Can't that lead to harm? Well, I mean, can't him saying that cuties is a good thing and Netflix sexualizing minors is a good thing? Well, what if that leads someone to go harm a minor sexually? What if that happens? That's the argument against child porn. It's literally the entire argument against child porn is reducing further victimization. That's why child porn is not allowed to be distributed, because it incentivizes the creation and distribution of more child pornography, leading to further harm of children. That's the problem with it. That's the problem the law is trying to address. I mean, there are obvious moral problems with child pornography in general, but that is the wrong the law is trying to correct. Oftentimes with child pornography, every time with child pornography, the damage is done when the video is made, right? The child was exploited physically already. So remedy by preventing distribution, they don't remedy any harm to the children. That harm has occurred. Many of them are dead. Many of those children are dead because the videos that get propagated and circulated are old videos. That being said, what the purpose of those laws are attempting to do is to prevent the incentivization of further victimization of other children. That's what they're going for there. So that's the argument Dick is making very briefly by saying, what about this cutie stuff? Can't that lead to harm? And Vito says, no, it's fine. That's fine.
There's no problem.
What about the mukbang videos? People eating until they're throwing up and sick. You don't think that's causing harm?
If they say this is super healthy and everyone should do it, then yeah, they're fucking lying and they should be held to task for that as well.
Okay.
Apparently, if someone says mukbang is healthy, then you need to remove them as well. That they should be censored also.
Okay, so
Held
it's just
to
the
task
lying.
for lying by who?
The platform or whoever, their audience, us as society, we can say, fuck you, no one should listen to you. There's various consequences that can happen. YouTube's consequence is we don't want you on here, and I agree with that consequence.
Do you flag videos like that often?
I'll flag stuff if it's like hate speech, like legitimate people saying, let's
Oh
kill
my
blacks.
fucking God. I cannot imagine you've got YouTube's dick so far up your ass that it comes out your mouth so you could jerk it off onto your
So
own
you
face.
would like YouTube to be a platform that says, let's like, it's just like, we have a lot of videos from Nazis saying like the Jews should die. You would like for that to be that kind of open platform.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I disagree with you.
That's America,
100%.
by the way. You were talking about being patriotic on the last biggest problem. That is a hallmark of America, is that it's full of people saying exactly.
Of course, he goes to Nazis, right? It's always to Nazis. You always got to go to Nazis. But the answer is let the Nazis speak. Let the Nazis speak. If you don't like Nazis, you want them talking as much as possible so you know who they are. Because if you just force them into private clubs where they only speak amongst themselves, you'll never know who actually is and isn't a Nazi. If you want to know who the Nazi is, just let them talk. No one listens to these people. No one actually agrees with murdering entire races. Well, I mean, some people do. Not that many, though. And the overwhelming majority of people who do believe it are shamed to admit it in public. They're shamed to believe it in public. But us forcing people underground, us censoring that speech, makes that speech more popular and propagates that opinion farther than it's been in the past 55 fucking years. And yet, Vito wants to suppress the speech. He wants to suppress the speech. Unironically, stupid enough to not realize that the Nazis did the same thing. That was actually their method of controlling the message about the Jews, was to just not let people say anything contrary. But that's fine. It's fine. Because look, Nazis. Nazis. Godwin's law is always right. Nazis. Here we go. What's next?
So just because he calls himself news and he's on that show,
This is Vito's distinction. This is why it's okay to go after Alex Jones. Alex Jones calls himself a journalist. Alex Jones and InfoWars have labeled themselves journalistic news sources. Therefore, they can be canceled. This is Vito's argument.
that's it. Flag.
He's a journalist. He claims he's a journalist.
But what about the channel you flagged was not a journalism channel. It was just a guy doing interviews, right?
It was a guy on there claiming to be a journalist, claiming he had
I don't think Alex Jones got on Friday Night Tights and claimed to be a journalist, but hey, I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone can correct me.
journalistic information that he was delivering on to the public.
So
It's
Neurotics
Alex Jones.
On Friday Night Tights, a show shitting on superhero movies and comics or praising superhero movies and comics, Alex Jones is delivering serious journalism right there. And everybody, all the people watching Friday Night Tights, they're like, you know what I tune into this show for? It's not really to make fun of Kathleen Kennedy. It's not to make fun of the newest Wonder Woman comic. It's not to make fun of Fat She-Hulk. Actually, it's to wait for the one time ever they've had Alex Jones on for 45 minutes and he says something about the vaccine, so I can take that to heart as a news source. That is the this is Vito's stupid argument. He believes the opposite of you and everybody you like. And yet, everyone you like today is talking about how great Vito did and what a wonderful addition he is to free speech. Everybody, all these people are praising him. Dick's praising him. Tons of the one person I didn't see praising him was Nerdrotic. I didn't see Yellow Flash praising him either. But I don't want to, I'm not putting words in their mouth. I didn't see that, but I saw a whole lot of people, canceled people who've been canceled over speech, all talking about how great this was. And yet he supports the cancellations of all these people, just not Dave Chappelle.
If Alex Jones comes out and says, I'm a comedian.
No one is going to believe Alex Jones on his journalistic credentials. They're going to
absolutely do.
You're so you can't even listen to a sentence without coming in. It's like,
because
can you?
Everything that
is it why you can't walk by a buffet without picking up a chicken wing? Jesus Christ! No, they listen to Alex Jones because they trust Alex Jones, not because of his journalistic credentials. He doesn't have any journalistic credential.
Himself a comedian. Why does he call himself?
Because he's not a comedian.
Then what is he?
He ironically calls himself a journalist. That's the joke.
But here's the big thing that Vito is missing. It doesn't matter what he calls himself. He gets the same speech rights as everybody else. What is this? What are we talking about? Well, if you call yourself a journalist, then suddenly you don't have free speech rights? Is that the idea? If you call yourself a journalist, you can't have an opinion. You can't do anything. No journalist actually believes that, by the way. New York Times is desperately fighting that type of similar situation in the Project Veritas things because New York Times is trying to say, well, our journalists can insert opinion into their pieces. Now that's on defamation. Defamation is not actually protected speech, but just about everything else is. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he calls himself a journalist, a comedian, a funny man, a fat man. Doesn't matter if he calls himself a pill salesman, sell natural male enhancement, super male vitality. We got to get some of these supplements. You'll never feel the same in your entire life. You're gonna be out in nature like God intended. Like, it doesn't matter what he is. It doesn't matter what he labels himself. Dave Chappelle is not being protected because of the jokes in The Closer. Most of what Dave Chappelle says in The Closer isn't jokes. Most of the offensive stuff Dave Chappelle says in The Closer isn't a joke. I've said it 100 times now because I want people to understand. The Closer isn't funny. It's not a very funny stand-up. It's actually, it's kind of sad. I don't think it's intended to be funny. I don't think Dave was trying to do comedy. Dave Chappelle does great comedy. He does it all the time. He's been doing it for years. Lots of people call him the GOAT, and it's a well-founded opinion to have that he's the greatest stand-up comedian of all time. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but it's a fine opinion. He's got the chops for it. The Closer wasn't funny. I don't think he wanted it to be. The Closer is smart. It's witty. It's incisive. It's insightful. It's apt. It's correct. That's the scariest part about it. That's the big problem with it, is that you're sitting there not laughing so much, but kind of going, yeah, okay. You're nodding along with it. Dave Chappelle's not being protected because he's a comedian telling funny man jokes. And oh, the trannies just shouldn't be so fucking mad about it. They shouldn't get their jock straps in a bunch, right? That's not the part of Dave Chappelle's show that needs to be protected. It's the true parts. It's the parts about how the transgender community forms, as they did today, giant hate mobs to go after anybody. And those hate mobs can make people kill themselves. That's not a joke. That happened. And it happens all the time. That's the scary part of it. That's the part of the speech that's so offensive. Like Dave Chappelle's stand-up act, he tells stories about trans people that he interjects a little line or whatever. And it's like, okay. But the story, the truth of the story is not a joke. He's telling a story and he's doing it stylistically. That doesn't make him a comedian. These aren't just belly laughs that he came up with out of thin air. These are stories, allegedly. Maybe they're not. Who knows? The point is they're true. Whether they're true stories or not, they're true stories. That's why everybody watching The Closer is nodding along, because all the stories are true, even if he made every single one of them up. And by the way, a lot of his stories are about white people, about how white people are bad, how white people have treated him badly. We don't know if any of those stories are true either, but they're all true enough. There's a ring of truth to them. We get to derive truth from the storytelling. That's how storytelling works. That's why you can't pick a label and say, well, this class of people deserves protection, but this class doesn't. That's a stupid thing. That's a stupid thing.
One, he's a consummate entertainer. He's one of the most entertaining and charismatic people around. It's hilarious because his opinions conflict with like his ability to draw a crowd. But that being said, it's not his journalistic credentials. He doesn't have a Titanic CNN logo behind him weighing on with 60 years of important neutrality, which is obviously just false. They cashed that in decades ago, but they've been riding that wave forever. He built his own company. Everybody knows what InfoWars is, and everybody knows who Alex Jones is. No one is going to take the word of Alex Jones who wasn't already going to take the word of Alex Jones. It's not like someone's going.
This is the point that Vito doesn't get. There's no one who like stumbles across an Alex Jones clip and goes, oh, InfoWars. Yes, that's a trusted news source I'm going to follow. And then listens and goes, I will do what Alex Jones says. That's not how it works, folks. InfoWars does not have that history. And again, I think the history is bogus, but people do give credibility to Fox, to CNN, to NBC, to ABC, to CBS, to NPR. They give credibility to them based on the label automatically. They shouldn't, but they do. No one does that with InfoWars. No one on earth says, oh, yes, the storied history of InfoWars. I remember William Pulitzer commending InfoWars at its inception, and it's been a steadfast institute of this country forever. No, the people who believe InfoWars believe it because they listen to Alex Jones, they have assessed what he says, and they trust. And that's how journalism used to be. By the way, that's what journalism was at the beginning of the country. We didn't have 5 news wires that everybody siphoned off of to repeat the same exact story. There were 10, 15, 20 newspapers in every major metro area, all duking it out constantly. And you put your trust in the newspaper that you built trust from, the journalists that you agreed with. Was it Pulitzer? Was it the other guy? I don't even remember the other guy's name. Doesn't matter. Who did you trust? That was journalism. That's what Alex Jones did. That's why they hate him. Because all of the people who believe Alex Jones, all the millions of people who watch his show and love it and listen to him and find him to either be humorous or credible or both, all of those people did it without any fake history behind it, without some false institution like CNN propping him up. He did it literally with the copious amounts of sweat on his own brow. That's how he built the network. That's why he's such a threat. They're like, Jesus, someone like this, who we hate, can attract bigger audiences than us. And they don't have a logo doing it for them. It's just him. How terrifying is that to the people who want to be the arbiters of the truth? That's why Alex Jones has to be protected. He should be labeled a historic monument, a national treasure that no one can touch. No construction work can be done on Alex Jones because he's perfect the way he is, because he's such a threat. He's such a threat to the establishment, and it was literally off of his broad, hairy chest's work that did it. That's why they hate him. That's why Vito hates him too.
To random walk into Nerdrotic's room. Oh, who is this curious individual in the middle?
He looks trustworthy, screaming like he smoked 10 packs of cigarettes today.
You don't think anybody watching that stream has never watched an Alex Jones thing before? You don't think anybody that was their first introduction?
Yeah, but
to
so
Alex
what?
Jones
It's covered by the First Amendment. It doesn't matter if what you say makes other people do stupid shit. It's covered by the First Amendment.
It's not covered by YouTube TOS, and I agree with YouTube's TOS.
Reminder, what I said at the beginning of this. Also, there's a bunch of people who have joined the stream since then. Vito thinks that YouTube's terms of service gives them license to deplatform anybody, which it does, but he also thinks that that's correct and agrees with it. Replace YouTube with Netflix. And Vito, by necessity, must support the deplatforming of Dave Chappelle if Netflix decides to do so. He must, because he agrees with the platform's terms of service and ability to control what's on their platform, because he's a bitch and won't just say, YouTube, you're a bunch of fucking cunts. Stop censoring people. Stop taking people off the channels because you don't like what they say about vaccines. Stop kicking off channels for election misinformation. It's not your job to police misinformation. It never was. It never was. And first of all, you're really bad at it. Second of all, most of the misinformation that you're calling out is not actually misinformation. He's afraid to do that. Instead, he's like, no, YouTube's right. They're correct in their assessments. They're not. Speaking from firsthand, they're not. They are not correct in their assessments. Let's finish up this clip. Then we got two more.
I agree.
God, you're
I think you're in. I think
disinformation is a problem.
I think you're in it. I think you're in a
He just said misinformation is a problem. It's not.
Dangerous game where you're publicly flat. Like your intent was to get the channel.
In a dangerous game because my rules are very clear about what I think is reasonable.
If you're
a journalist who lies is not reasonable.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like
there you go. He's very clear. His rules. His rules.
No. Would you flag it again? Would you at them again? Please don't.
Well, first of all, I didn't flag it.
He's saying in a heartbeat. Vito would do it again in a well, I didn't flag it though. I didn't flag it. In a heartbeat, he would do it again.
Okay, right. I'm sorry.
You literally did.
Would you notify Team YouTube again?
The flag is using the actual
it's just a different flag. I mean, it's just a different flag.
You intended harm,
no,
right?
You can't. They tell you get an automated message that says, if you really want to do something about this, you got to use our back end. I don't care. I'm not doing anything.
They did not give you that message, you liar.
Yes,
they gave you the message. They gave you the message that they were going to look into it. They responded to your tweet.
They sent me a message that says, if you think this is a concern, you can go into the YouTube back end and report it.
Yeah, except that's not how that works, because they actually said they reported to the earth that they will be looking into it. They replied to your tweet.
Because other people, you think I'm the one who reported it? You don't think anyone else reported that thing?
You did. Doesn't matter.
They replied to you.
They did not say we're looking into it because of anything you did. They said, why don't you go?
So you can attribute. Wait, so you can attribute harm to statements that. Hold on.
You want to report it? Yeah.
So you can attribute harm to statements that Alex Jones made, but a statement you made and YouTube directly responded to you. You can't attribute any harm to that. That could be anybody.
I didn't lie.
That's okay. All right. I just want to know.
Champion free speech today. Everybody's saying Vito did good. Vito 364 days out of the year, Vito is the mob outside of Netflix. 364 days out of the year, Vito is standing next to arm and dick with transgender people. Vito is standing next to them, demanding the takedown of somebody else. But not today, though, so it's good.
Right, I'll see you then. Goodbye.
Hey,
Good
Nick, we good? You can say no.
No.
Yeah, I don't think
didn't think
so.
so.
People don't like flagging.
Here's the funny thing. I don't care about your shit take opinions on so many things. I don't care about any of that stuff. You can say all you want about all of these different things. That never bothers me. People can disagree with me. They can make fun of me. That doesn't bother me either. What always pisses me off is when someone's working to build a business and then some fat retard comes along and is like, Humpty Dumpty, I'm gonna tell the YouTube police on them and get them shut down forever. Fuck you. Fuck
Your
you.
business is causing harm to people, then you have a shitty business.
No, fuck you and everybody who ever did that.
Go out to fucking spread lies and hate. It's bullshit. I don't respect that kind of business.
Dave Chappelle is a business. It goes out to spread hate and lies. That's literally what all the trans supporting people in front of Netflix said today. Vito doesn't support that.
Sure. If they lie about how their drugs work, yeah, sure. What a fucking
They did. They all did.
Vito,
fantastic. When did I say I love pharmaceutical companies?
When you're out here like proclaiming the truth of everything they've said about the vaccine right now. You know, the one that they have a complete bar on liability from the federal government.
Yeah.
You cannot sue them. If you take the vaccine and die, you cannot sue Pfizer. You can't, because the government took that ability away from all of us because everything they say is truthful and good and right.
Okay, so talk about that.
I do.
Okay.
It's insane. It's insane. That's the last Vito clip. Again, because COVID was mentioned and vaccines were mentioned, it's very, very important of me to say I'm not talking about the efficacy of a vaccine, the effectiveness. I'm not telling anybody to get a vaccine or not get a vaccine. That should be done based on their conversations with their doctor about their personal health considerations and considerations from the experts. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about liability. We're talking about what other people have the right to say about these subjects. And the absolute fact, as I'm pretty sure I've laid out over the past 45 minutes, that every other day of the year, Vito 100% supports the exact same arguments that the fucking idiots at Netflix were doing today. It's the exact same arguments. This speech causes harm and must be removed. Vito 100% agrees with that statement. And him and Andy Singor tying themselves up in knots trying to get around that fact is bullshit. And all of these people on YouTube who are like talking about Vito being some champion of speech today, it's great. It's not. You don't want that person being your champion because they'll take it. That's the scary part. You know, when you're playing a game and you make it's a barter type game and you make an offer and someone takes it without arguing with you and you go, fuck, that was a bad move. I just got wrecked. I know I just got wrecked. You hand Vito over as the left's champion or as the right's champion of free speech, as free speech absolutist, as libertarian, whatever it is. Pick your label. You hand Vito. And any of them go look it up. They go, all right, we'll take him. He can be your champion. And then suddenly you're like, oh shit. Oh shit. They just took him. Turns out Vito isn't based and red pilled. Vito isn't anything other than buffet pilled. That's what's got me worried. That's why principles matter. That's why principles actually do matter. And again, I'm sure I have failed a principle from time to time. Absolutely. Lots of people have called out places where they think I've failed them. Some of them may be right. I don't know. You get too many critics to count at some point. Some of them may be right. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying this one's obvious. This one is obvious. And we are pedestaling a giant liar who believes the exact arguments he's professing to be against. That's what bothers me. Again, it's not Vito's fault. Vito's doing what Vito does. Great, wonderful. But the rest of us, whew. All right. Let's do super chats. And then we'll get into the rest of the stream, which will be a little bit of a different pace. I think. I hope. I just man, it's frustrating. It's a really frustrating thing when you're out defending free speech as much as you can to see people embrace someone who hates their speech, literally hates them, and they're like, "Yeah, he did a good job." He hates you. He would have you deplatformed in a heartbeat. Butt Worlds Man says gyrating hips, satanic panic, rap music, violence in video games, comedy, joke lives matter. Roscoe P. Coltrane says, here's what I learned from Krigler last night. Tim Pool is taller than Ethan Ralph. That's definitely. Sorurhis says, you're trying to cancel Vito. That's bad optics. Where am I trying to cancel Vito, you dumb motherfucker? Not trying to cancel him. I haven't even said stop watching him. I'm not said, oh, you got to boycott Vito's channel. You will not catch me saying to stop watching or engaging other people. Don't hold him out as a champion of free speech because he's not. That's pretty fucking obvious. He's not. But if you like his Star Wars videos or whatever, go knock yourself out. I don't care. I don't care what people watch. I don't care what they consume. I'm not here. That's the thing. Here's that consistency thing. I'm not trying to cancel anybody's show ever. I'm not trying to cancel any business ever. If I don't like it, I just don't buy it. You don't see me advocating boycotts. People criticize me for not advocating boycotts. That's consistency, baby. That's the principle. If I'm not a fan of what you do, I just won't consume it. It's okay. You can keep making it. Here's the worst part. Maybe this is me being a bitch. I wish them success. I want them to win. I want everybody to build businesses and succeed. I want an economy that is constantly thriving. I don't want people out of work. I want people in work, and I want people working for themselves at the highest numbers possible. I hate bosses. I hate corporate structures. I hate all of that. I don't do well with authority, obviously. That's why I've been working to work for myself as long as once I found it was even possible to do, I started chasing it and chasing and building and working. And it's why I spend 16 fucking hours a day working in some way for myself as hard as I can. Because I'm worried. I'm worried that if I slip up, even for an hour or 2 hours a day, if I'm not working, if I miss an opportunity, if I miss something, what if my business goes away and I have to go work for somebody else again? I don't want to do that. Again, I'm not a great employee. I don't like when people tell me how to do my job because I'm usually better at it than whatever their opinion is. Or you could just label that I have problems with authority. It's both are equally true. So, yeah, I want people to succeed. I want Vito to succeed. I just don't want a bunch of people on the right selling out their own principles. Or I shouldn't even say the right. It's not about right and left. We're even me fall victim to this fucking right-left paradigm. It's not right-left. How about people in the right? Not on the right side of politics, but in the correct side of speech freedom. of classic liberty. The idea that you can say something and someone else can be offended. The idea that what you say might be risky if someone else listens. That's free. That's freedom. That's free speech. Again, if the only speech on medicine permitted was to take Tylenol when you get hurt at the recommended dosage, it wouldn't need protecting. We also would never advance medicine. Mario Carter 13 says, there's like a robin. Consistent principle equals mom said it was my turn. Is that a robin? Bird? I don't know. Forbidden Cat Belly says Pinterest was just valued at $39 billion by PayPal. That's the value of millions of wish lists made while white women 18 to 35 drunkenly browse the internet. Yep. Pinterest has made so much money. Pinterest, that's been the interesting thing. That puts Pinterest around the same value as Roblox, for example. Which is crazy to think about. But that's the value of platforms that allow you to create sub-platforms on them. That's what makes YouTube worth so much in a weird way, is people are able to create sub-platforms. Pinterest, same thing. That you create an economy within a business. And that economy is valued heavily because the business isn't really involved in the economy itself, but facilitating it and taking small portions of it makes a lot of money. Let's see, what was Roblox? I'll find the Roblox value. Roblox market capitalization right now is $45.2 billion. 45.2. So Pinterest is 6 billion behind Roblox. Because Roblox has created an economy. It's a game engine. That's what it is. Roblox is a game engine. People make games, they sell in-game merchandise, they sell out-of-game merchandise, they sell access to games, and they sell it like crazy. It's insane. No, Roblox, that's in American dollars. Roblox is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It's publicly traded. RBLX, you can check it out. Market cap right now, $45.2 billion. Current stock price is $78.58 a share. Roblox is worth a shitload of money, man. Josiah Fitch says you can make money in Roblox. Yes, you can. I've been trying to get my kids to make more money. I think it'd be funny if they became chief Roblox grifters. But yeah, if you can create, especially if you can create 3D assets and create game worlds and stuff, and make a popular server like a Minecraft server, you can have in-game assets that are exclusive. I mean, sort of like emotes on YouTube or Twitter or whatever. You can do all that stuff and people will pay for them. William Smith says, my least favorite thing about my YouTube creators is that they all use Twitter. It's a leftist occupied trash fire. It's a platform for linguistic warfare. Its admins want to ban you and its users want you dead. No excuses. It's true. I would love to have a viable alternative to reach people than Twitter. I do think Twitter is losing its influence, but for now, it's still my biggest platform. So other than YouTube, of course, YouTube is the biggest platform, but it's weird how many people Twitter actually brings to the show. For me, when I used to not use Twitter, I stopped using Twitter for a while, wasn't using it for show announcements or anything, and the viewership on every video was down, and on live streams. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at building social media platforms, so that's the weird thing. I just don't seem to grow anywhere. Did okay on YouTube, but everywhere else, which that's the one that matters for income. So that was the good one to win, I guess. But I would love to replicate the success on other platforms to get the word out, to get more people into the show. Yeah, I saw it. Trump announced Truth Social. I signed up for the email alerts, which now I'm regretting already because I'm sure I'm going to get like 50 a day because that just seems to be how Trump does things with email alerts and text alerts, is that you just get an infinity of them. But I did sign up. I'll be watching for a Truth Social to come out. We'll see. We'll see if it goes the way of Parler, if it goes, if it just dies out, or if it becomes a Titanic steamroller. Looking forward to the trash fire, whatever that may be. Stephen Cooper says, duck Vito. Rick Nikita says, literally no one cares about Vito's opinion. People only care about what happened because he was chest thumping some bro at a protest. Bad Vibe says, wait, do you call a rioting gun packing? I think it means what? What do you call a rioting gun packing fake medic? A one-armed bandit. Oh, guys, some guy was allegedly Gage Grosskreutz on Twitter. I don't know if that's actually true. If it's actually him, I can't imagine it's actually him, but that has been a wonderful revelation. Here, I'm trying to pull it up real quick because whew. Here we go. I'll pull this up briefly. This is on Twitter, but this doesn't have anything to do with Twitter drama. I know some people don't like when I cover Twitter drama. So that's why I'm qualifying this stuff. But here we go. Whoops. Wrong window. Can we fucking hate Twitter sometimes. So holy shit, I found a rabbit hole full of stupid. So this is actually, oh damn. This was retweeted by Gage Grosskreutz. But let's take a peek at this brilliant legal analysis. Combat veteran here. Sure, I'm sure you have 300 confirmed kills. Just a perspective. If you arrive armed to a place where violence is happening, prepared for violence, and you engage in violence, there is no self-defense. Oh, what is there then? What is there if there is no self-defense? You are, in fact, a willing combatant. Oh, okay. So I guess Joseph Rosenbaum, Gage Grosskreutz, Anthony Huber, they're all willing combatants because they're engaging in violence. They're armed. Well, Joseph Rosenbaum was just armed with pedophilia, but the other two, one was armed with a skateboard, one's armed with a gun. Are they engaged in? Are they willing combatants? If you do this without being sanctioned by the government outside of a combat zone, you are also, in fact, a terrorist. Okay, so everybody there's a terrorist? Everybody's a terrorist now. We had another word for armed civilians operating outside the military as well. Insurgent. You can tell that this guy is not a combat vet. Well, I mean, maybe. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me correct myself. Maybe he's talking about like Iraqi or Afghani civilians who are armed operating outside of the military being insurgents. But in America, armed civilians operating outside of the military is just the citizenry. That's always just been the citizenry. That's what we want. We want armed civilians operating outside of the military. That's what keeps the government in check. That's our safeguard against tyranny. If your recourse to the terrorist is to look up the criminal history of the victims, oh no, they're terrorists too under your description, buddy. It is no different than looking up the criminal past of everyone that died on 9/11 in order to justify the hijackers. It's a lot different. Hijackers had no idea who would be in the buildings on 9/11. The Kyle Rittenhouse had to look in the eyes of the people he shot. This kid was illegal all the way around. This shit is ridiculous. Combat veteran. Pressing X to doubt on that one. Hold on. Let me find. I was going to find the Gauge account in case people want to check it out. This is not, don't go. It's not a harass thing or anything like that. It's just I saw him responding to Mystery Grove Publishing. Shout out to Mystery Grove Publishing, by the way, here. And they had a back and forth where Mystery Grove was talking about Grosskreutz, and then this guy alleges that he's Gage and starts going after it. He has a newish Twitter account, only 2 followers, but he has 88 tweets or something, mostly going back and forth with this guy. I've been teaching first aid since then too. All good though. That bullet might send Rittenhouse to 25 to life. So if this isn't Gage Grosskreutz, which here's his alleged concealed carry license, if it isn't him, then it's someone who's super simping for him. So pretty interesting thing. I did retweet this one. At least he can cope with both arms. So, which was petty. That was petty of me. It was low. I went below the belt on that one, but that's okay. All right, next. Azrael Bain says, "Hey Nick, 2 questions. When is my birthday? It's in December. And would you prefer something large or reasonable? I promise that is not a Fuda question." Look, I prefer not to get gifts on my birthday personally. Like I don't need things. I don't need stuff. I get whatever I need throughout the year. And I would rather people, utilize their money for themselves or someone else. I don't need anything. So, I don't know how to answer the question. Reasonable, I guess, is the answer, because reasonable to me is nothing, or some like little trinkety thing that makes shows you're thinking about me, or something weird and gay like that. But I genuinely don't want. I do not want presents. I don't want presents from my family. I don't want presents. Don't need them. I'm old. I'm happy to celebrate my birthday, though. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I don't like birthdays. I like my birthday. I like days that focus on me. I think they're great. But presents in general, I'm not a big thing for me. Tara Cannon 876 says, the argument is that Chappelle, etc., are people of influence, so the sheep will do what he tells them to do. The key isn't just what's being said, but whether the speaker is influential, hence why they are also held responsible. I know that's the argument. It's also, it's a bad argument. I know you're not making that argument too. Like, I'm not calling your statement bad. You're right. They fear anyone with influence, because that influence is bigger than them. So they're afraid of it. And they can't do it. That's why CNN, it's why the news media paid off YouTube. I've talked about this a couple times, but let's get this out there. And I wish I remembered the chart. There's a chart. You can pinpoint the day that the agreement with mainstream media occurred with YouTube. You can pinpoint the day if you have the chart, because it's the day that Ben Shapiro stopped beating Fox News. And it happened overnight. Boom. And now you get news sources with millions and millions of views on clips that are just basic clips that have no business getting millions of views, but they get pumped and pumped and pumped into the timelines of everybody watching. They're the top recommendations on all of the subjects ever. And so, they have no business getting the views that they do, but they get a ton of them. And there was a specific day, and even to their credit, the Young Turks were outperforming all the leftist media. And it was like Shapiro, Young Turks, Crowder maybe, and it all went whoop, and it turned up, like the graph literally flipped. And suddenly, the next day, the mainstream news outlets were beating every political commentator in the country who was beating them the day before in views, because YouTube accepted a payoff. And that's the difference. We all monetize our content. So all of our content is monetized. And therefore YouTube gets ad revenue, and they have to pay roughly half of that ad revenue to us. That's the agreement. With the mainstream media, they don't. It's still monetized, still ads. Mainstream media has a different contract, a lower cut, if they take a cut at all. They want the views. See, the mainstream media doesn't rely on YouTube for income. That's not important to them. They need YouTube for exposure. Exposure expands their existing institutional power and their institutional money. So they don't need ad revenue. So they let YouTube have that. So if YouTube promotes, here's the thing. You got Ben Shapiro doing a video on this Netflix protest, and you have Fox News doing a video on this Netflix protest. One of them, you have to pay half of your ad revenue. The other one, you don't. Which one gets 1 million views and which one gets 500,000? The one you don't pay gets the most views. That's how the algorithm is going to work it out. Baron Stone says, does your prohibition against gifts extend to whiskey? Look, I'm not going to turn down any gift anyone sends me. But as we were just talking about, as a person with some mild level of influence, and it's a weird thing to think of yourself as an influencer, but as someone with a mild level of influence, I would actually, I hesitate to say anything, because I don't want anyone to think that I want people to buy me stuff. Or need to, or anything. There's no, again, you guys support the show so freaking much through super chats and views and locals, recadalaw.locals.com. You guys do all that. That's the gift. The gift is that I work for me, well, and kind of work for you, and that it works out. Like that's the biggest gift. I don't need people to send me anything. You want to send me a bottle of whiskey though, I'm not going to turn it down. But as an influencer, I must bring up something, and that is the high quality products at Ridge.com. Ridge wallets. These things are fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. The only reason I don't have anything in this one is because I currently enjoy my new Ridge wallet, which is the Ember style Ridge wallet. It's not down here, otherwise I'd show you, but I have been using a Ridge wallet for several years now. I bought my first one, and then they sponsored the show and have given me Ridge wallets in the wake of sponsoring the show, and I 100% think that they're a great company. I really do. They make a great product. The wallet's great. I like the knife. Some people don't like the knife because they're like knife experts or something. And they're like, well, it's not as good as like a $10,000. Well, it's not a $10,000 knife, but more importantly, their backpacks, their weatherproof travel backpacks are phenomenal. I use it to travel. It's my carry-on bag everywhere I go. It holds a shocking amount of stuff and a computer, and has a nice padded spot for me to put my collectible Warhammer books in. So I would strongly suggest ridge.com/nose. If you're looking for gifts, not for me, because I have one, but if you're looking for gifts for someone else in your life, they're a great gift for guys. I keep running into guys whose wallet is literally a rubber band around their credit cards, or like one of those little clips, like a binder clip around their credit cards and some cash. Those people will love this. It's clean. It's easier. It doesn't, the rubber band's not going to break. It'll hold their stuff. It'll minimize the crap that's in a wallet. It slides nicely into a pocket. They're good stuff. Anyway, go on to, I can't pull up the banner. I don't have it on StreamYard, but go to ridge.com/nose and then use promo code NOSE in all capital letters to get yourself a little discount. All right, guys. John Jelaine says RFID protection. They say so. I have not tested RFID protection on it because I don't know how in the hell I do that. But they say there's RFID protection in these little in these plates, right? And so inside the plates, RFID protection for your cards so that you can't get ARFID sniffed walking around town. Apparently, I haven't tested it. That's what they advertise. So you guys can check that out. But anyway, thanks for bearing with me. I didn't get to do the earlier this month ad for Ridge Wallet, so I have to do two, one now and one by the end of the month. I'll try and wait on it. I wanted to space them out more, but I was kind of banned. I kind of had COVID and was kind of banned. So there you go. But do check it out. Lots of people have sent me follow-ups that say, hey, got the Ridge Wallet for my dad or for me, and they like it. So it's good stuff. And most importantly, the most important thing, they have never told me what to say. They have never criticized what I've said. They have never said, hey, we need you to lay off of this subject, or, hey, we need you to not say this about that person. Never once has Ridge ever told me to say anything like that. And the moment they do, I would break the contract off that day, even if it meant missing out on payments. The moment a company tells me what to say or what not to say, I will end the contract that day. No ifs, ands, or buts. So there you go. Okay, Renee Villarreal says, I may be misremembering, but wasn't the mean mustache censored before his party rose to power? Yes, I think so. I think he was. Did Ridge Wallet ever report you to YouTube? No. Is it made in the USA? I don't know. I don't know where it's made. They might be. Check the website. Go to ridge.com/knows and you can check. Jay is bored says, does Ridge Wallet cure COVID? In a way, yes. Although that statement has not been approved by the FDA or the CDC. And you may also have to get a monoclonal antibody treatment with your Ridge Wallet. But in a way, it does. In a way. The Bad Burrito says, remember that ninja that attacked the airbase? Here's an interesting quote from the article. The man brandished the sword at deputies, the sheriff's office said. Projectile rounds were used, but were ineffective. No, that was great. He dodged bullets. They couldn't stop the ninja with guns. Couldn't at all. Kyra says, when are you finishing the Rittenhouse hearing? I did finish the Rittenhouse hearing. We finished it. I'm sorry you missed it. It's actually the YouTube video is called Finishing the Rittenhouse Hearing. I'll get you a link or a date or something. Here we go. Finishing the Kyle Rittenhouse hearing. It was on October 7th. Here is a link to the Kyle Rittenhouse hearing live stream that we did, finishing it up in the chat. So you should be seeing that link there. Kyra, sorry that you missed that, but it did happen. Puggernaut says, Vito, journalists who lie should be deplatformed. Alex Jones is a journalist. Alex Jones is a liar. Alex Jones should be deplatformed. Who said Alex Jones is a journalist? Vito says Alex Jones, but Alex Jones is a liar. Well, that was good. That was good. I wish I would have thought of that. Deathwing Elite Gantz said, what happened to the Lucas hearing? I have not had time to stream during the day. Really much at all. Unfortunately. And tomorrow is looking bad too. I just found out tomorrow morning I am teaching. 8:45 a.m. comes really, really fast on every other Thursday. And that's this Thursday. Last Thursday, I was out with COVID, but they also shut down the homeschool co-op because cases were everywhere. Not just my family, but lots of families got hit. Pretty much everybody in Minnesota got hit with COVID at the same time. Like literally the whole state was in panic mode from increased infections. And so they canceled us last time. So I have to be there tomorrow morning. but it's going to be, it's going to be early. Oh boy. Whew. G-Man says, we all have free will to act or not based on info. He doesn't trust people to not act in a bad way given news from certain sources. Censorship is oppressive towards everyone from whom it restricts info, not just the censored. Correct. And the Supreme Court has recognized that the right to speak is not the only aspect of free speech, but also the right to have your speech heard. Because the government's argument, if you don't have a right to have your speech heard or the right to hear someone else's speech, then the government's argument would just be, well, they can say whatever they want in their closet. They can say whatever they want in their own home, away from everybody, not broadcasting. Well, then they have free speech because they can say it. But that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. So free speech recognizes also the right to be heard and the right to hear. Now, it doesn't say that you can be heard on a specific platform, right? Like, we can't take it to that step. It maybe should, but it doesn't right now. It does not say that you have a right to be heard on YouTube, for example. But it does say that it's more than just a right to speak, because that's what Vito's argument kind of early in the discussion was. If you remember, he was saying, well, he can say it. He could say it. He just not on YouTube. And turns out for Alex Jones, just not anywhere except his own platform that he built. But if he didn't have that platform, it would be just not anywhere. And that's crazy. That's actually the terrifying aspect, is the cohesive nature of big tech, the cohesive activity that they do. They're banning the same person from all of the platforms. They're banning the same people from all of the access points to the public at large. And that's got to stop. And I will doubly suggest that they are doing it on behalf of the government. But we haven't proven that yet. Guys, I have the saddest whiskey day. I do see 1,000 likes. I did not get to the store to buy whiskey today, so I'm drinking these little bottles of Glenlivet. The first one I had was the Glenlivet Founders Reserve. This is the French Oak Reserve 15-year Glenlivet. So that's what I've been drinking. I get these little one-shotters. Just pitiful. By the way, if you want to know where on the glass one shot is, this is the glass I use with some frequency. Here it is. That's the whole bottle. So you can compare when I pour. I tend to pour a little more than that, I think. Mandy Karavikis says, Nick, place I work at shut down today and sent us home due to lack of materials from our suppliers. I think I should be worried. At least I'll have time to prepare and cook some lovely lasagna. Ooh, lasagna is delicious. Today I made smoked pork chops. They're about that thick. Smoked pork chops with, and then I made some of those, one of those bags of ravioli that they have. They're like fresh-ish. They're refrigerated, but they're not frozen or whatever. They're kind of Rava or something. I don't know the brand name, but I made some of those. My kids really like those, but I made a homemade marinara sauce to put over the top of them. It was really good. It's good stuff. Skrick says, just finished the Sargon video, and I get the same feeling of Warhammer painting with breeding fish and gardening my aquariums. Also make a small profit selling plant trimmings and guppies. Yeah, no, that's great. Just doing and building something, making something, crafting something, to me, that's valuable work. Even whether it makes money or not, it is a value to you. And I think it's a great thing. So, okay. Okay. let's American Widgeon says drink the Malort. I don't have any Malort. I drank it one time and never wanted to drink it ever again. God, it was horrible. Dallin 9, not all prepared raviolis come in frozen, no. There's I think it's Rava is the brand or something. I actually met someone who worked for one of the companies that at least used to watch this show. And they're really good. The noodles are not frozen. They're good time. All right. Melinda Scott. Well, Melinda Scott's husband. What is... I was too busy grabbing Dick Show clips. Now I got to find what his stupid YouTube channel is. 1 second. It's on Kiwi Farms. Where is it? Where is it? Shit. Might be on this page. Sorry, I did mean to grab these, but okay. We gained a subscriber. Good job. Yahuwah Reigns. Hold on. Very proud of it. Or wait, no. Yeah. I think he gained a subscriber. Okay. This is Martial Law versus Rekieta parts 1 and 2. These were posted yesterday. I've not listened to these yet. This is fresh. This is him calling me out. If you remember, I don't know why he records his videos this way. It's terrible. But if you remember, how am I going to do this? What? No, I don't want that one. I want this one. He records his videos so weird. I'm just trying to make it, very consumable. But this guy is allegedly, the husband of Melinda Scott. Not to be confused with Melinda Smith, who is Mercedes Carrera, the adult film star who is on, has been routinely granted continuances of the trial that she faces for her alleged sexual abuse of a child charges. That's Melinda Smith. This is Melinda Scott, who is not a former porn star that we know of. And I think we would know because I think the Kiwis would go crazy. This is her alleged husband who is responding to me. He's responding to me and my criticism of Melinda's... Oh, that's pretty good. My criticism of Melinda's case. Can I shrink it down even more? I can. So he has picked out some point in the stream that I must have been talking about to rebut. And so this should be fun. This should be fun. I always like finding out where I'm wrong from people like this guy. Is his name Marshall? I think is his name. Let's see. Bad Vibes says, would you consider Section 230 had an aspect of free speech protection for platforms? If so, I think that should extend to users of said platforms. If government offers protection to one, it must be extended to the user. Yeah, I basically agree. And that's kind of what Clarence Thomas was arguing with his common carrier approach to social media. Telegram companies were given protection from defamation, and the exchange was they had to basically take all comers. Everybody who went to the Telegram company to send a Telegram company had to do it. Your phone company basically has to accept the fact that they're going to transmit your phone call. But in exchange, the phone company is not liable if you call someone up and start making terroristic threats again, like I'm gonna kill you and rape your arm sockets. Like if you say that, AT&T is not responsible for someone making that phone call. That's the protection that they get. Without that protection, AT&T might be responsible. It depends on the circumstances. So that is what Clarence Thomas has suggested as a possible way forward for social media. And it's one I agree with. If we're going to give social media broad immunity from what's posted on their site, they're immune from civil liability for what's posted on their site, then we should also be saying that they have to take reasonably all comers, and removal from the site has to be really, really specific. And they're not, they're not necessarily immune from liability for the removal. So, like a Telegram service could turn a person away if they like walked in and held the clerk at gunpoint or something, or they made some very harassing comments to an employee. Like those types of things could still get you banned or removed from the Telegram company, even though they're something akin to a common carrier. And there would be some sort of exception for platforms. There has to be some way for them to refuse service, but there's got to be some protection for the user baked in. And right now we don't have any protection for the user. So I think that is a very important aspect of 230 that needs to be rounded out. William Smith says, I hate the idea of being an active Twitter user, but I'm trying to build an audience. How do you do that on Twitter? Does it involve engaging in discussions, tweeting or replying about relevant topics, being gay in any way? It just involves being seen at the right time by the right person. I mean, unfortunately, that's the way it goes. So you tweet stuff when you have a smaller platform, you can reply to people and hope, like bigger platforms, and hope that they see it and retweet it. Hope that you get a good take that way. Or you could tag people from time to time, or you can just comment away and hope you gather people, but it's tough. And then Marty Lund says, it's not cohesive so much as collusive. Court showing records that Facebook and YouTube colluded on ad revenue. Anti-competitive cartel action is obvious and illegal. Public-private partnership with DNC is naked fascism. Yeah, but no one seems willing to admit it officially, and that's been the problem. Okay, let's see what this guy's got. Let's see what he's got for me. Let's get the good juice. Juice, Juice.
Anyways, I saw Nick Ricchetta's video about me, and I commented on the video and said I'd respond. So I'm going to.
You did? I didn't see your comment. I'm sorry. I would have gladly responded to you if I would have seen it.
Respond. This is martial law versus Ricchetta law. Martial law used to be my nickname I had on the streets.
On the streets? Oh, shit. Guys, we got a badass here. Whew.
I used to do martial arts, and, I had a reputation. Martial law was like...
I got a bad reputation. Watch out. Used to be a badass in the streets. People knew my name, except they actually knew not my name, but my nickname, which was Martial Law.
Character off of Tekken. And, I whooped this dude's ass pretty bad, and some people used to call me Martial Law on the street.
Yeah,
so
get it.
That's where that name comes from.
I'm happy, right? Like I think everybody should whoop someone's ass at some point, I guess.
Anyways, there's some things that he said. I don't want to play everything because it's just too damn long. He just babbles on and on and on.
I was responding to you.
He doesn't use definitions or case law. He just...
You don't use definitions or case law either, you dummy. You're just saying, where's your case law? Where's your case law? That's the bulk of what you said. But the stuff we're talking about doesn't require case law.
Says his opinions a lot. But anyways, one of the things he was making fun of me was when I said color of law is a social contract. And when I made the video, I was trying to explain to people what I mean by a social contract is when you let a DA or a police officer prosecute you for a crime that doesn't exist, that's acting under color of law. And the issue is that there is no law. And
There is no law. No law. Okay. I mean, do I want to do this? I mean, I guess we have to do this a little bit. Real quick. Okay, this is from the Department of Justice, and this is where color of law comes from. It's deprivation of rights under color of law, Section 242 of Title 18. Makes it a crime for a person acting under color of any law to willfully deprive a person of right or privilege protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States. For the purpose of Section 242, acts under color of law include acts not only done by federal, state, or local law officials within their lawful authority, but also acts done beyond the bounds of that official's lawful authority if the acts were done while the official is purporting to or pretending to act in the performance of his or her official duties. It's under the color of law. Now, that you might be lying about acting under the color of law, but the color of law is acting under the law, or at least saying you are. But if you're acting as a lawful authority to take away someone's rights, like if you are arresting someone because they just shot someone in the face in front of you, you're arresting them under color of law. But if you're arresting them under a lie, like you made up suspicion of a crime and you arrest them, that's under color of law too, because you're using the law. You're employing the legal auspices of the country and your presumed lawful authority to act to do this. That's what it means. It has nothing to do with a social contract, has nothing to do with whatever weird thing you're saying. It's literally just acting under the law. But some people lie, so they have to say color of law because it's not lawful if they're lying. If they don't actually have probable cause, if they don't have the thing that they're required to have to engage in the activity, then they're breaking the law, but they're still acting under a purported legal authority. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything special. It doesn't mean whatever weird concept you and Melinda keep saying it means. And Matthew Hardin can't act under color of law because he's not a state actor. He's a civil defense, in this case, attorney. He does not have lawful authority to do anything to you. The judge can act under color of law. The magistrate could act under the color of law. The clerk, the bailiff, they're acting under color of law. It doesn't mean anything. The judge sitting on the bench every day is acting under color of law. Every time he gets up on that bench and makes a ruling, it's color of law. Doesn't make it wrong. Doesn't make it right. Just means he's acting within a purported legal authority. And until you get that through your thick, dumb, stupid fucking head, you're going to sit there and continue making bad arguments thinking that they're right. Marshall, I'm not making fun of you. I am making fun of you, but I'm not making fun of you to be mean. I'm making fun of you to try to educate you on this. You're wrong, and your wrongness and Melinda's wrongness is leading you to a destructive path of obsessive, addictive, pro se lawsuits that at some point, if you keep it up, will come back to you, hopefully. So maybe that will stop you because you're abusing the legal system. You are forcing a judge to act under color of law to bring Joshua Moon into court when he does not deserve to be brought before court for you. He probably deserves to be before court. He probably deserves all the prison in the world. Send him to some Lithuanian prison or whatever for some wrong that Joshua Moon did, but not to Melinda, because you can't point to a single thing Josh did to Melinda to merit the lawsuit. That's why you're trying to sue other John and Jane Does, and you just can't. That's why the judge dismissed your case, because you haven't put forward a case against Josh. Has nothing to do with color of law. It's everything to do with your bad legal arguments.
It's a social contract because you're consenting to it. You're basically saying,
No. Look, black guy walking down the street gets shot by cop. That's the news story, right? That's the headline everywhere. Cop shoots him under color of law. Did he consent to be shot by the police? No. That's why 242, Title 18, or Section 1983, that's why those exist, is to provide remedy for people who did not consent to the color of law, depriving them of their civil rights.
yes, I agree with these people because I didn't fight it. I'm consenting because I
No.
didn't fight back.
Nothing to do with that.
I didn't motion for dismissal. I didn't respond to it. I'm
Nope.
just going to pay the fine.
Nope.
That's a social contract because there is no law.
That is not a social contract. There often is a law that has nothing to do with it. And yes, sometimes the cops do bad things. Yes, sometimes people give tickets for things that didn't exist. It happened to me in Chicago. I got a ticket on my car in Chicago, and I was charged with not having a proper license plate affixed to my trailer. I wasn't towing a trailer. I just had a sedan. Now, the cop screwed up and cited the wrong citation, but he did it under color of law, and I was not guilty of the thing.
What would it be if there was no law? A contract. You're
Nope.
agreeing to it.
No.
You're
Actually, it's not a contract. If you get convicted of a crime that doesn't exist because you agreed to it, you can actually get that overturned. You can appeal it. The prosecutor has an ethical obligation to do so if they're informed of it. In fact, that order can be vacated. You could have spent 98 years in jail and still get that vacated because it wasn't a crime. Now, people don't always do that, but that's not because they agreed. That's not because it's a contract. There's no contractual obligation. Well, sorry, you didn't fight this, so therefore you have to stay under contract law. No, not how that works.
saying if you just pay the fine, that yes, I agree that their opinion and their moral beliefs is against the law.
Oh my God, go to speech therapy.
So therefore it's a contract because it doesn't exist. You're consenting to color of law. You're
Nope.
consenting to a fine.
Color of law is like the easiest concept, and he's gotten it wrong.
And he makes a comment saying that judges dismiss cases that when prosecutors and police officers bring charges for laws that don't exist.
Yes.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Correct.
But we actually looked it up, and there was a lot of people in Virginia, especially Southwest Virginia, the lowest educated people, that were fined for the same exact charge that charged Melinda with a law that didn't exist.
Are you saying Melinda's one of the lowest educated, lowest IQ people? That we can agree on.
They actually extorted money from people under.
Yes, cops are bad. Cops do bad things. Courts do bad things. We know this. This is not a secret. What are you talking about?
Color of law, and people paid the fines like idiots because they didn't know the law. Just like the camera lights.
Melinda doesn't know the law.
At the red lights, they take pictures of their license plate and they send you a bill in the mail. Yeah, and sometimes they're private companies, sometimes they're police departments, but they're acting under color of law.
If they're a private company, they cannot act under color of law.
The camera doesn't have a right to give tickets,
In some states, it doesn't. In other states, it does. Actually, stoplight cameras have been held constitutional in several states, including states like Texas. What are you talking about? They just give you a civil ticket rather than a criminal fine.
Nobody witnessed the crime. You know, how
The camera did. The camera operator did. The camera operator reviews it 6 times, witnessed the crime. But that's why they do a civil charge, because they don't actually know who was driving for sure. They can't prove the driver. They can't get to beyond any reasonable doubt. That's why it's a civil ticket, and they've been upheld as constitutional. I disagree with it, but the courts don't.
how could a camera write a ticket? It has to be done.
The camera doesn't write a ticket, you fucking dummy. Like 17 people review every ticket cameras. I think it's 5. 5 people review like every ticket camera ticket that's given. They all review it. They review it. It goes through this several step. It's fascinating how much work goes into the camera tickets when they actually write the ticket. But they do it so that they have an extremely high success rate.
Done by a peace officer. It's complete bullshit. And how many suckers out there forked over hundreds of dollars to these fake tickets that they received from a camera light? I wonder. It's a fucking extortion scheme. Strong arm robbery.
I agree,
mean,
but it's still
the camera
legal,
light's
dummy.
not so much, but the fact that in Southwest Virginia, they actually took people's money and actually put it on record for a law that didn't exist. This happened to thousands of people. Thousands, maybe, I don't know how many, but they've done it many times. Melinda was the only person that's smart enough to actually fight it.
The only
And
one.
it got dismissed.
She's the
Then
only one who got it dismissed.
They made a law later on.
Just Melinda. Melinda was the only person. In fact, they got every other remedial West Virginia thinker. They got all of them tickets. Melinda was the only one who fought it, got it dismissed, and then they made a law. They didn't call it Melinda's law, though. They called it not Melinda's law, even though she was the one who did it.
Because they're probably worried that they're going to get sued
Oh, yeah.
because
Tons of
they were
concern.
acting under color of law and extorting money from people. You know, it's a social contract because those people agreed to it under their ignorance.
No.
And that's what I mean.
No, it's
They
just
didn't have to
extortion.
consent
If it's illegal, it's
because it
just
wasn't a law.
extortion.
They should
You
have
can't
disputed it.
actually you can't consent with the state to an illegal law. Like, I mean, people do, they plea out and they do this thing, but they can't actually do that legally. So if you fight it even today, you can get it undone.
It was because of their ignorance. Anyways, let's see what this dickhead has to say.
Yeah. Finally.
Genuinely hurt. Make them put up the appeal. Sell the house. Stop paying rent. Go to a homeless shelter. Whatever it is, you're going to win, right? You believe?
Since when does righteous ruling have to cost anything?
Forever. Since forever. It costs a fucking fortune to do almost every lawsuit. Oh my God. Get a speeding ticket overturned. It's going to cost you more than the ticket. You do it so that you don't get the ticket. That's the by design. When did, oh my.
You know, where's all the taxpayer money going to?
It shouldn't be going to you. You guys are fucking leeches.
You know, why does righteous ruling need to cost anything? You know what I mean?
No.
How about we just get rid of the entire fucking government? Why?
Okay. I'll raise you your anarchy and I'll go full Ancapistan on you, motherfucker. Come on to my plot. My warlords will execute you. Let's do it. I'm with it.
Why should we have to pay anything to get righteous ruling?
Let's get rid of the government entirely. Why should we have to pay to get the government to decide what our case for us? Wait, what? I thought you didn't want a government, but now you do? Believe me, Marshall and Melinda, you would not do well in a non-government. You can't tolerate having things said negative about you on the internet. Like, that's what level of pathetic you are. Is that someone said something negative on the internet and the person who ran to the government to fix it was you. You guys have done this 5 times. Well, Melinda is 5 times. I don't know how often she cycles through random husbands. Melinda has done this 5 times straight to the government every single time you're out here. Huh, let's just not have a government. Why should it cost money to ever? You are the one running to the government. No one else is, because someone said something about you on the internet you didn't like. That's the biggest beta bitch move I've ever heard.
Why?
Even it, right? Sell your car, sell everything you own, all your furniture. If you're righteous and you're correct, sell everything you own to pursue the righteous act. Sell everything you have, all of it, all your clothes, all of everything. What do you need? You need what? Like 3 shirts? 3 shirts, 1 pair of pants, a couple pairs of socks, like 5 pairs of underwear. What do you need?
The U.S. government gets paid enough money from our taxes to cover all these court costs.
No, they don't. That's why there's court costs. They don't. They only cover the court costs for the poor and destitute of West Virginia. That's the only people. Everybody else has to pay. We all have to pay. If I'm doing a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit in Minnesota, and I'm filing a motion, I pay $100 per motion. Like that's how it goes, because our taxes don't cover the court costs. Should they? Probably, but the government doesn't spend that way. You are taking money that is not for you to wage a personal vendetta. You're taking other people's money, other people who worked hard and had money stolen from them by the government that you allege to hate, but you beg to suck the tit of that government so that you can carry out your gay vendetta against Joshua Moon, which is the saddest thing I've ever heard. You're exploiting your neighbors because someone said something mean to you on the internet, and you don't even have the common fucking decency to pay the absolute minimal court costs that are involved. Again, a couple $100, except not with the way Melinda does it. She would be she drops so many motions, she would go broke. But Jesus Christ, man. I hate government. Why shouldn't the government give me someone else's money so I can do a lawsuit? Listen to yourself. You are a government bootlick. You're sucking government's dick constantly. You love that government cock right in your mouth. That's what you want. You want more government shoved into you in every possible orifice. Oh, you just love it. Please inject some informa pauperis into me, Papa Government. Please give me other people's money. That's what I want. I really want to go after Joshua Moon. You're disgusting. You're pathetic.
I mean, they spent what, $16 trillion? What, I think the deficit's like what, maybe up to 20 trillion now. I mean, I'm going off of numbers from 2009. You know what I mean? I haven't looked it up lately. I have no idea. But why should anybody have to pay for anything to get righteous ruling?
Why should anyone have to pay for anything? I don't know, because they do. Everybody has to pay for stuff, because our taxes don't cover the court system. In fact, our taxes are so inadequately cover the court system that they have backlogs because they don't have enough court staff to take care of it. They have tons of it. Should they? Maybe. I don't know. But if the system were free, people like you would use it constantly and drive up the price. It's a minor deterrent to frivolity. But when they allow informa pauperis, those people, they still take advantage.
You tell me that. Why?
I just
what
did.
Does the purpose of a government? What is the purpose of the government to exist? Why the fuck should we pay taxes? What do we need a government for?
You don't pay taxes. You're so fucking poor, you don't pay taxes. Why are you complaining about them? You're literally taking money out. You're going to the bank of government and doing a withdrawal. You don't make a deposit. You're not paying taxes. You're accepting other people's taxes to fight your personal vendettas against John. It's not like the government charged these people. It's not like Melinda Scott is being forced to defend herself and needs a public defender or something reasonable like that. She is the offense. She is begging the government to give her other people's money so that she can go after someone personally. That's her choice. No one forced her into this position, and she loses every time and keeps filing with the same bad legal reasoning every time. And she'll continue to lose as long as she does. And every time she will ask someone else to pay the burden for her.
You tell me. You know, I'm talking like an anarchist or a libertarian.
No, you're not, because you are talking as someone who has run to the government to beg for money. You're not talking like an anarchist or libertarian at all. You're talking about someone who fully accepts the government's dominion over you. Remember, it's a social contract, color of law, all that stuff. It's your agreement. It's your agreement to it. It's your agreement. It's your agreement. Your agreement. I've heard Melinda say color of law like 50 million times in the lawsuit. So it must be her agreement to it. It's her social contract. You are not talking like a libertarian or an anarchist. You are talking like someone who wants more money from government for your personal vendettas. That's the opposite of an anarchist or libertarian. Anarchists would not run to the government to relieve their grievances because they don't believe in the legitimacy of the government to do so at all.
A little bit, but you know, I don't understand your logic. You know, you're supposed to be this conservative, right? You're supposed to believe in capitalism. What the fuck do you need a government for? Oh, you know, I know what you need a government for: to oppress people, to hold
You're asking the government to oppress Joshua Moon.
them down so that you could get ahead in society. That's what for.
It's literally what you're asking. You're asking to take other people's money to give you a boost.
You know what I mean? You need a fucking strong arm to fight your battles for you because you're too chicken shit to fight your own battles.
You're the one who went to the government. Josh Moon did not go to the government and ask him to do anything for Melinda. You're the one. You're describing you.
That's why you need police. Without police, you'd be eaten up alive by people like me.
By people who would run screaming to the government. Without police, you'd be eaten up alive by people who run to the government for help.
Sell everything you have and pursue the righteous action. If you don't, you're a liar.
That we're having is we're arguing the fact that
Look at this level of inception. We're 3 layers deep, y'all. If we get to 4 layers of inception, we'll never wake up. Or wait, are we at 4? Oh shit. It's 1, 2, 3. We are at 4. Oh my God, we're never gonna wake up. Sorry, spin your tops now, ladies and gentlemen. It's over.
for one, the judge who actually made the final judgment and dismissed the case, he retired after he ruled on my wife's case. So
After he ruled on your wife's case, he accepted a retirement position in which he still gets to be a judge.
So why isn't Joshua's lawyer sending these motions to the judge retired then?
I don't know. He's still a judge, though. It's called. It's a status that senior. It's called a senior federal judge. Senior federal judges get it. They get to choose their caseload. They get to work a reduced caseload. They get a reduced pay, but still good pay, and they get to keep their benefits. It's an amazing thing. They become a part-time judge, so long as they're still competent, and that's the position that he's taken. It doesn't matter if Joshua Moon is sending the documents to him. You're trying to attack the validity of the judge because he retired, but retired senior judges are still judges. They're still active. They get to choose to take as much or as little work as they want. But they're still judges. It doesn't invalidate the ruling.
Why is he going to a magistrate? That we didn't agree to.
That doesn't matter if you agreed to it. Magistrates review federal fucking cases. They review them basically 100% of the time. Magistrates review the cases. Magistrates make recommendations to the judge. Then the judge rules on them. That's how it works. That's how federal court works, because there's so many federal cases and only so many federal judges, and it's not enough. So they outsource it to magistrates to write opinions and make recommendations, and then the judge will choose to adopt those recommendations. Guess what? When a magistrate recommendation comes in, you can object to it. You can find problems with it. You can write a memorandum and say you disagree. It's how the system works. It's not Josh choosing to do it. It's how the system goes. You were notified of this.
too. And why don't you explain why, if the case was dismissed and closed, then why is he still going through district court?
Because there are issues that are not finished, like the fees and the appellate bond. They're not done. That's why. Those are done at the district court level, and he's done them within the rules, you moron. It's the fucking federal rules. Just read the rules. They're right there. They're open. They're free to everybody. You don't even have to beg the government to have someone else pay for your access. You can just type in Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. In specific, you could type in Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 54, and you could read why he's asking for fees up to 14 days after a final judgment, because he can. That's why. That's why. That's it. It's just the rule. It's in the rule. Just read the fucking rule. Just read the rule. Read the rule. If you're going to be in federal court, read the rules.
When the case was dismissed and it was appealed to a higher court, he should be appealing to the appeals court, not the district, because the case was dismissed and closed with prejudice. That's what I'm trying to say here.
The case was dismissed with prejudice. The underlying issues of fees and the appellate bond are not dismissed with prejudice. Those are still active, and they're decided at the district court level.
Read up on retired judges, buddy, or just watch my video talking about it. It was his last act as a full-time judge, but he's now basically a part-time judge.
I already know this, but they're trying to use a magistrate to go around the judge.
They're not trying to use a magistrate. Oh, Jesus. God, fucking I'm going to die. My heart's going to explode. It's going to spray blood all over the camera. Oh my. We'll just do this. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. I am trying to let's see if we can just find it here. Okay, it's not those. Trying to find this stupid thing. Okay. They didn't send anything to the fucking magistrate. They send it to the court. They file it to the court. I'll just show you. I guess maybe I need to. How do we do this? Let's see. Okay. Let's briefly talk about what is going on. Let's figure out who brought the fucking magistrate judge into this. Here we go. Motion to supplement the record. Now comes defendant Joshua Moon by counsel, submits his motion to supplement the record. In support of this motion, defendant Moon states as follows. Ordinarily, all matters brought before the court are filed in the ECF system, either by counsel or by the clerk's office, and such documents are made available to the public and for purposes of appeal. This court allows proposed orders to be submitted via email in word processing format rather than filed in the ECF system in PDF format. See Exhibits A and B. Undersigned counsel submitted a proposed order on the fully briefed motion to require an appeal bond. The submission was accomplished via email dated September 16th, Exhibit C and D. The pro se plaintiff has now replied to that email with various legal arguments and threats, copying all counsel and the magistrate judge. See Exhibit E and F. Such submissions, which are directed at the court and in which plaintiff makes legal arguments, ought to be made part of the court's official record to be made available to the public and the parties in the same manner as the rest of the record. Defendant Moon anticipates relying in part on the plaintiff's correspondence to the magistrate judge. Plaintiff's correspondence to the magistrate judge in his upcoming Rule 54D motion on appeal. They're not sending things to the magistrate judge, you dummy. They are sending things to the court. That's who they send them to. They send them to the court, and the court files them. And then sometimes a magistrate judge takes a look at them. Other times it would be the district court judge. It depends on the document. It depends on the local rules. It depends on everything other than what Josh Moon and Matthew Harden want. They're not choosing the magistrate judge. The magistrate judge chose you. They chose the case. They're who do it. I don't know how to explain this to you. You keep saying magistrate judge as if it's nefarious. It's not up to them, and it's not up to you who responds to these documents. The magistrate will make a recommendation. That recommendation will then go to a federal judge if it needs it. You have to read the local rules.
Retired judges don't go away. They're just part-time.
There's no judge right now
Wrong.
that's been appointed.
Wrong.
And they're actually trying to use a magistrate judge to make judgments on this case. And, you know, this
Magistrate judges often make recommendations to district court judges.
They can make recommendations, but they can't grant motions
They
unless
can.
both parties consent.
Nope.
They try to pull that fast one when I was going through the divorce court.
That's
I
a
already know the
different
game.
court, you dummy.
About how they should rule. That's it. And
Divorce court is state level. That is a different type of magistrate than the federal magistrate. Oh my God.
And once the recommendation comes down, both parties are welcome to point out the flaws or the problems in the magistrate judge's recommendations. Magistrate judges don't make ruling on cases in.
Yes, they do make rulings. They handle all kinds of
You just said they don't.
stuff like that, especially like
You just said they don't rule on motions.
child support cases.
This isn't a child support case. That's a state magistrate. Federal magistrates are different. You brought the case in federal court.
But the point is that we never consented to it. And we don't have to use a magistrate. We don't want to use a magistrate.
You will use a magistrate. You're in federal court. Oh, fuck me. What do I have to do? Like, I don't. Let's go. Let's see if this is it. I don't know. I could probably just find a Wikipedia case if I need to. Let's do this. Let's see. I've never read this before. This is from uscourts.gov. We'll just see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the dummy. I hope so. At least he could get a win here if I'm wrong. That'd be great. That'd be good. I'd be proud of him. Magistrate judges, uscourts.gov, are judicial officers of the U.S. District Court appointed by the district judge of the court to handle a variety of judicial proceedings. Appointed by the district judges. They have authority to issue warrants, conduct preliminary proceedings in criminal cases such as initial appearances and arraignments, and hear cases involving petty offenses committed on federal lands. In most districts, magistrate judges handle pretrial motions and hearings in civil and criminal cases. While most civil cases are tried by district judges, magistrate judges may also preside over civil trials if all parties consent. That's presiding over the civil trial. You're not having a civil trial. It's over. You're in a motion hearing process. Your trial was dismissed. You don't get one. Maybe you read this and this is what you're thinking. You're wrong. You're not going to trial. Your trial is over. Your trial was decided on the merits with the dismissal with prejudice. Like other federal judges, all full-time magistrate judges are paid the same salary, regardless of where they serve or their years of service. Position and authority of magistrate judges was established in 1968. By federal law, magistrate judges must meet specified criteria, including at least 5 years of member in good standing of a state or territory's highest court bar. They must be vetted by a merit selection panel, blah, 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 blah. In addition, there are a small number of part-time magistrate judges who serve 4-year terms. Magistrate judges handle pretrial motions and hearings in civil and criminal cases. Those are not trials. Those are not trials. You don't need to consent for this. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how else to say you're wrong. You just are. And it's embarrassing.
And the fact that he's communicating with a magistrate smells pretty fishy to me.
You're communicating with the
Federal court.
magistrate.
What they do is they make recommendations to the district court judge who's seated in authority over the case. That district court judge will choose to either adopt the recommendations of the magistrate or not.
This magistrate judge, I'm sorry, is incompetent. And the issue with the magistrate judge.
I'm not slandering the magistrate. I have actually had experience with this magistrate before when I got arrested. That's why I think she's incompetent, because she is very narrow-minded, especially when it comes to law enforcement.
Color of law.
And people working for the state. When I got a resisting arrest charge, the magistrate.
Look at this badass. Brought his marshal out of the streets, got fucking checked on it, apparently. Good job, you moron. Jesus. I've got some gin now because I'm out of whiskey.
Didn't even want to listen to my side of the story.
Shocker.
Because I had to go see a magistrate, for them, before they let me go to the jail.
This is the same magistrate, the same one. So why is a federal magistrate overseeing state criminal charges on resisting arrest? Or were you federally charged with resisting arrest? Are you sure it's the same person? Are you sure?
And the magistrate decided if the cop had a probable cause to arrest me. And which he didn't. The only thing I did, the only thing I asked the cop when I got arrested was, what gives you the right and authority to tell me what to do? And the cop got pissed off and fucking wanted to slap handcuffs on me. I didn't break any fucking law. It was an unlawful arrest. It was completely unlawful. You know what I mean?
So you beat the charges, right? Like you beat the charges since it was an unlawful arrest.
And I was assaulted by the cops too.
And you won your 1983 claim for being deprived of civil rights under color of law, right?
I mean, what? You know what I mean? And the magistrate would not listen to me. And this is why I think the magistrate's incompetent. I know who she is already.
Oh, so you lost. So they did have legal reason to arrest you, apparently.
Judges, both parties have to agree to use a magistrate instead of a judge.
Incorrect.
Or the magistrate judges will be null and void.
Incorrect.
Because a magistrate doesn't have authority to rule judgments on any kind of case.
The magistrate is not making a ruling, they're making a recommendation. The district court judge is implementing the recommendation.
You see,
No, we don't.
since the judge retired and didn't set an appeal bond and dismissed the case is done.
Nope, you appealed it. Melinda appealed it.
She appealed it, but to appeals court, a higher court. So why the fuck is he still motioning in district? Explain that one. What?
Because it's Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 54. That's why. It's the rule. You can't blame him. You can't motion for district court fees in appeals court. That would break the rule. You have to follow the rules of appellate procedure, and your appellate fees are distinct from your district court fees. That's why he's doing it. Look, Marshall, I know you're a big dumb retard, and it's great because you're out there kicking everybody's ass, except when a cop comes up and completely cucks you and you have to go to jail like a bitch. I got it. You're a big fucking strong guy. Let me speak very clearly. I'm not going to insult you or anything if I can manage it for just a minute. It's Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 54, the recovery of attorney's fees. That rule allows you to file up to 14 days under the rule or longer under other order of the court for attorney's fees following a final judgment in the case, because you have to tend to get to a final judgment before you ask for attorney's fees, because you have to know how much time you spent and that the case is done before you can ask for how much it cost. Because if you don't wait till after it's done, then you don't know when it's going to be finished. Something could happen. A bunch of work could come in, all sorts of other things. So the rule exists and allows up to 14 days later. Now, I know Joshua Moon did not file his motion for attorney's fees within 14 days of the final judgment, but what he did do is request a continuance under the rules, and that continuance was granted over Melinda's objection by the judge and or probably by the magistrate. I think it was by the magistrate. And because they got that extension, they were then able to file ultimately within the timeline set by the court under the rules of civil procedure. Everything they did is within the written down rules of civil procedure. They're public, they are free, they are uniform throughout federal courts. Nothing they did was a special local rule or a special rule of a judge or some special thing. Literally everything they did followed exactly the rules of civil procedure. The ones that had you read, you might have been able to properly effect service upon Joshua Moon, but you didn't read them, so you couldn't properly effect service upon Joshua Moon. That's on you. You have to read. This is one of the reasons people hire attorneys, is because the attorneys are more familiar with the civil rules than you are. So they don't have to spend as much time reading, but you don't have to have an attorney. The rules of civil procedure are plainly written. They're actually very intelligible. It's a rare act to have Congress endorse a set of rules that is intelligible to the average person. And the federal rules of civil procedure very clearly laid out these timelines and these processes and what you do. The fact that you don't understand it is why you should have an attorney rather than a failed paralegal running around suing everybody with Kabbalistic Jew powers. That doesn't actually work. That's not a real thing. And I'm sorry that you don't understand it, but buddy, you don't understand it. And no amount of I used to be a tough guy on the streets is going to get around the fact that you can't follow the basic rules that literally everybody who accesses the federal system has to follow. Every single person has to follow the same rules. You're asking for special treatment. You're asking to not be every person, just like you're asking to have someone else pay for your lawsuit. But you're doing that under the rules. The rules allow for informa pauperis proceedings. Bet you read those. Bet you read all the rules about getting other people's money. You just won't read the rules about how the actual process goes. That's why he's filing it with the district court, because he can't file it with the appellate court, and he's within the timeline of the rules in district court. That's why, because the rules say so. They're rules. They're there. They're there for you. Use them to your advantage instead of losing to them.
Gives him the right to appeal in a case that's been closed in district when
He's
it's
not
been
appealing.
appealed to a higher court.
He's not appealing.
That's all I'm saying.
He's not
Case
appealing.
was done. They didn't ask for fees. They didn't ask for shit.
All right, I'm going to
Melinda
fast forward this
fucking
to where he
appealed
starts
it
talking about
right
color of
away.
law,
She
because I
appealed
wanna
it
address this one.
immediately, and then they're like,
Oh God, we're going back to color of law. No, no. Can I be like that attorney who hired a hitman to off him?
Marty Lund says lefty boomers seem to cope with their mortality about as well.
My wife had one of our kids sitting in the front seat with a car seat. And DOT.
Wait, what? Your wife had a kid in a front seat in a car seat?
Yeah, she did. And the airbags were disabled. And just to correct you for an example, because I have experience with mechanics, airbags operate off a relay. If you understand what a relay is a switch basically that could switch on and off. Basically when a relay is off, it's an open circuit. When it's closed, when the circuit is closed, that means you have power running through it. So when you turn an airbag off, the circuit becomes open. So there's no possibility of electricity getting past the relay.
There's never, ever in the history of anything been an electrical failure that caused a disaster. It's why they recommend not ever putting a rear-facing child seat or front-facing child seat in the front seat, is because the airbag might deploy, and airbags are fatal to children from time to time, much more often than they're helpful to children. It's just why they recommend it. Again, you said it was a Suburban. Why does she have a child in the front seat of a Suburban? Does she have all 9 of her husbands in the back seat? Is that what's going on? What are you talking about?
And energizing the C2 explosives in the airbag.
The fuck is wrong with her?
Makes recommendations that you should
Quit being ignorant.
have a child in a car seat on the front seat of the car because of airbags. But you could you could turn your airbags off in a car.
Color of law. This is just, I can't
The
stand
judge
it.
didn't. So Josh asked for more time to file his motion for attorney's fees.
True.
Judge says no, because the judge says you can supplement the filing with further information if necessary. You don't need to have an extension to make your initial motion. So make the motion. If you have to supplement because Melinda keeps racking up the bill, then you can supplement it at that point. You want to know why I said that? Here we go.
Mr. Obi-Wan 2020 says, hey, man, I continue to appreciate the content. Lost my mom today. Mom and dad gone in 9 years. Thoughts and prayers if you can spare them. Oh, dude. Losing a parent. It's a tough one, brother. My heart goes out to you, man. Sorry you got to deal with that.
Here we go. Let's just go ahead and let's just go.
Know the laws, they're going to use it to their advantage. And the judges don't give a shit.
No, what does this have to do with lawyers? Melinda
Because
represented herself in
judges
that criminal case, right? No
are
lawyer was
elected
trying
from
to extract
lawyers.
money
Judges are not elected at the federal level. They're appointed.
from Melinda.
You have
She
to be
was
a
too
lawyer to
smart
be a
for the lawyer.
judge.
You actually don't have to be a lawyer to be a judge in every situation. In federal court, you do, but in some state courts, you don't, because it's an elected position. So you don't have to be.
Dipshit.
Okay.
What the fuck is
You
he
know
talking
this shit.
about?
Quit playing dumb.
They'll enforce color of law until somebody actually disputes it. And this is why you have appeals courts, because you have a lot of
Actually, lots of judges will dismiss cases sua sponte if they say, actually, this isn't a law.
Some do and some don't. That's your opinion right there. But in Virginia, they actually charge a lot of fucking people with a charge they gave my wife.
You're not criminally charged here, you dope. You asked the court. You begged the court to intervene in La Kiwi Farms making fun of you. You guys ran to the government. No one charged you with shit. There's no illegal proceeding going on here. You asked for it. You consented to the social contract that you keep rattling on about by giving the court jurisdiction over you. You begged them for it.
And extorted a lot of fucking money, which was illegal.
Good. They're bad people. I don't like judges or cops. What are you talking about? The fact that I don't like them doesn't make them wrong in your case.
That was strong arm robbery. They used their position of authority to take advantage of citizens and take money from a law that didn't exist.
Not in this
So-
case.
You're going to sit here and defend that?
No.
Are you fucking serious?
Are you? Buddy, I talk about bad judges and bad cops all the time. I hate them.
Misunderstood it or cop misapplied it. They're not perfect, but lots of
You just say that
judges
again,
will
buddy.
not enforce bad laws that don't exist.
Yeah, they have. It's on
Judges out
record.
there that are morally corrupted. Anyways, so what happened? My wife had one of our kids sitting in the front seat with a car seat, and
I'm going to fast forward this a little bit.
Wait, what? Your wife had a
Yeah, you got to fast forward because we already talked about this. God, you're an embarrassment.
kid properly disable an airbag in a passenger seat. I don't believe her. I don't think she can do it. I have no faith in her ability to protect that child. Now, I don't want the government to step in. I don't think
based on color of law because they were trying to.
that's not color of law. And if she won that motion for dismissal, it's not color of law that won. That was the court ignoring her retarded assumption that color of law as a phrase mattered.
Enforce a standard which never existed in the books. There was no law. She didn't break any law. And the DA actually tried to prosecute her for a law that didn't exist.
Welcome
And
to
if she didn't fight
prosecutors.
and write a dismissal, a motion of dismissal, she would end up having to pay for that fine, and the court would have made her pay it based from ignorance of a law that didn't exist. And after that happened, Virginia just made a law, I think it was last year, making it illegal for a child to ride in the front seat in a car.
Gee, I wonder why Virginia did that.
Good job, Melinda, getting that law passed.
Seat. But before that happened, when my wife got charged with it, there was no laws on the books. They were using color of law.
They were not actually using color of law. That's
Yes, they were.
I hate everything.
Using your ignorance. There's no law. Didn't break a law. So this is what Melinda means when she's talking about color of law. See, the lawyer is trying.
Then she's fucking stupid if that's what she means when talking about
All
color
right,
of law,
let's
because that has nothing
look
to
at
do
the
with color of
definition.
law.
Color
I did look. I just pulled up the definition, homie.
of law. Let's look at the definition of what color of law means, Nick. Why can't you do that for your viewers? Why do you got to sit here and try to spread misinformation?
I guess he's going to be real surprised when he watches this one and we pull up the definition of color of law and he's absolutely fucking ass blasted into orbit about it because he has no idea what he's talking about.
That has multiple definitions,
Oh, now there's multiple definitions. Oh, okay.
but the context that we're using it is correct.
Nope.
So don't get it twisted.
That
I
was-
actually bookmarked this for us. Let's say,
Let's see what he says. Here we go.
hurry up, internet.
Yeah, let's get there.
Color of law. This is uslegal.com.
Watch the best part is that he's going to read the definition that I basically said, but he's not going to understand that he doesn't get it.
Color of law refers to an act done
That was a great ending. Oh, God. Oh, man, that makes me happy. That was way funnier than I thought it was going to be. Oh, Jesus. I did not know that was coming. Oh man.
Anyways,
The next one is shorter. He picks back up where he left off. Peter Pete says, here's $8. It looks like 20, buddy. So sorry, can't give you more. The boss didn't give me a raise. It sucks being self-employed. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Mandy Carvica says, mechanic here. You can't turn off a relay. You have to physically remove them. And if you remove a relay, you turn off more than an airbag. But you can turn off the airbag with a turnkey override. He's dumb if he does this. Here's the thing. They don't recommend you put a child in a front car seat or in a front seat in a car seat. Even without an airbag, they don't recommend it. The airbag is the main reason, but they just don't recommend it. They're safer in a back seat. That's the recommendation. Now, again, I don't think that people who do occasionally put their car seats in the front seat deserve the Gestapo of CPS. I'm not calling for anything like that. I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of recommendations about car seats. And I don't agree with all of them. I mean, if you listen to the car seat recommendations, like the fullest extent of them, you'll actually have people suggesting you should have a kid in a car seat until they're like 15. And I'm not joking. Like they're like, oh no, car seat booster all the way up until they're 5 feet tall and 100 pounds or whatever. And it's like, not all kids get that big very early. Some of the car seat stuff is really, really extreme. I don't sign on to that. But the very basic, don't have your kid in the front seat because it's safer for the kid in the back seat, is not just relegated to airbags. It's just in general. That's the thing. But it's insane. Danny says, Nick, this guy is so whipped. And he followed up with, and by whipped, I mean pussy whipped. If you're going to simp, it should always be for your significant other. So props to him for that. But it doesn't change the fact that these guys are vindictive, nasty people leeching off a system to fulfill their personal vendetta, but acting like they don't love the government. I mean, they literally they live by mercy of the government.
Something happened with the video and it quit recording when I was making my last video.
It was funny.
So,
it was the funniest thing your
this
entire
is
video. It was perfect.
A continuation. I was reading the legal definition from the website US Legal, the definition of color of law. Anyways, the color of law refers to an act done under the appearance of legal authorization. All right, Nick, what does the word appearance mean? That's the key.
I'm glad you read the US legal definition, but again, mine came from the fucking government explaining the actual law, where the color of law comes from. And it's from the Civil Rights Act. US legal's term is incomplete. It's incomplete because the color of law also includes lawfully authorized acts. That's the thing. You're acting under the color of law. Now, maybe you don't have the legal authority, or maybe you do, but you're acting under the color of that legal authority.
Key word you got to focus on right there, appearance. What does that mean? What does appearance mean? When something appears to be, but it is not. How about that?
Actually, no. Appearance does not automatically imply that it's not. In fact, there's an appearance of a chair over there, and there happens to be a chair there. It works both ways. So you've actually got just the basic definition of appearance wrong. Appearance can appear and actually be true at the same time, as we discussed going over the definition from the U.S. government about what they meant when they wrote down color of law.
The courts made that bullshit charge against my wife.
Oh my God.
For a law that didn't exist.
This charge against his wife.
An appearance of a law.
There was no appearance of a law. If the law didn't exist, there wasn't
All right,
an
let's read the
appearance of
definition.
one.
Color of law refers to an act done under the appearance of legal authorization, when in fact no such right exists or existed. It applies when a person is acting under real or apparent government authority.
Real or apparent government authority. Real.
Real or apparent.
Real.
What does the word apparent means?
What does the word real
Means they
mean, you
don't have
fucking
authority.
moron? What does real
They
mean?
thought they had authority, but apparently they were.
Or they really had authority. The word right before the or that's right before apparent, real, you just skip that one? You just quit with that?
Wrong. The term is used in the Federal Civil Rights Act, which gives citizens the right to sue government officials and their agents who use their authority to violate rights guaranteed by federal law. So are you telling me that them trying to steal people's money and extort people with fines is not a violation of rights?
No! I'm talking about your case with Joshua Moon, which has nothing to do with false criminal cases against your stupid wife.
Where's
You brought that up. I don't know about that. I don't care about that. It's irrelevant to the case that you guys brought. The best part is you don't trust the government. You don't trust the courts. You don't trust anything. But Melinda has gone to the courts over and over again. Are you cucked by the courts? Like, does she not trust you to go be a badass and just kick Josh's ass? Why don't you just go fight him? You're the martial law because you used to do martial arts. You're a badass who resisted arrest. Why don't you just go kick his ass? No, you go to the courts. You run to the courts that you don't trust, the courts that are unjust, the courts that hate you, the courts that mistreat you, the courts that extort and steal from you. You run to them and beg them for someone else's money, and you think you're going to get justice? No. Get your ass overseas and kick his ass. It's not even a violation of American law because you're going somewhere else. I don't know if it's illegal to kick Josh's ass wherever he is. Go find out. What the fuck are you doing? What is this? I'm not talking about your dumb wife's dumb charge from a dumb cop with a dumb judge. But guess what? She wrote her motion to dismiss, and it was dismissed because it was a fake law. She won. Good job. Great. Has nothing to do with this case. Why do you keep bringing it up?
due process? Where's the due process?
You got due process. Your case was dismissed without you paying a fine.
I don't know. You tell me.
You had an accusation from the government. You had a motion on the merits of the accusation, and you got the case dismissed. That's where your due process was. That was the process you were due. You are due the process of an accusation, a right to notice and be heard, and a right to the legal process, which would allow you to prevail if the charge was unjust. Is it a perfect system? No, but you got all the due process you could possibly get in this case. You ran the gambit. You won. You got it. You literally received your due process.
Were they acting out of color law? I believe so.
Yes, they were acting under color of law. They issued a ticket from a state actor. That is color of law. Yes, it has nothing to do with your case against Null. Why are you talking about this other case? What mental deficiency can you not get over?
They were acting from an appearance. They were creating an illusion to make an appearance of a law that didn't exist on the books. So they were operating under color of law.
And if the law had existed, they would still be operating under color of law. The interesting thing is, as the term is defined in this U.S. legal article, he's not actually right, because it's talking about the Federal Civil Rights Act. And in fact, Melinda Scott's rights were not deprived under the Federal Civil Rights Act. So, there's that whole problem. He's literally wrong in the application he's trying to use it. I was being nice and not mentioning that, but this is not a civil rights claim that she has. It was just a bad prosecution. that didn't exist. If she filed a 1983 claim on this, she'd probably lose.
Like a lot of people do. Like I said earlier in the other video, camera, the camera lights that take pictures of license plates is an active color of law. It appears that they have a legal right to take a picture of your license plate.
They have a legal right to take a picture of your license plate on a public road. They don't necessarily have the legal right to give you a criminal ticket for it. They can take all the pictures all day. You're in public. Long established precedent by the Supreme Court.
In fact, and write tickets and fine people for something that they have no legal right to give a fine. Anyways,
get to the fucking point.
Acting under color of law is misuse of power. Is writing people fines a misuse of power for a law that didn't exist? Sure it is. It's acting under color of law. It's illegal as fuck. Possessed by virtue of state law and made possible only because the wrongdoer is clothed with the authority of state law. These were government officials extorting money from people, writing fake tickets, fake charges that they were prosecuting people for and writing fines for. There was thousands of people victimized. Are you telling me that that's okay? Are you saying that they weren't operating under color of law when they were making fake tickets and extorting money from poor people? How many thousands of people were victimized by the act of color of law from the courthouse that wrote these fucking fines? How many? I mean, how many fucking other jurisdictions are they doing this kind of shit in? I wonder. I'll give you another example of color of law. You know, how I got fucked over by the system.
Oh,
you know,
oh, thank God.
When I got an assault charge.
Please tell me more about your criminal history, you fucking weirdo. Oh my God. Hold on. So I don't know why they quoted this. So over here in acting under color of state laws, misuse of power possessed by virtue of state law made possible only because the wrongdoer is clothed with the authority of the state law. And then it cites Thompson versus Zirkle. Do you know why they have Thompson versus Zirkle cited? It's because a guy sued his private attorney for acting under color of law and lost. If that's funny to you, it's because Melinda and Marshall, the ambiguously law duo, are saying that Matthew Harden, a private attorney, is acting under color of law constantly. But the reason that line exists is because it's only made possible if the wrongdoer is clothed with the authority of state law. But Matthew Harden and Joshua Moon are not clothed with the authority of state law. He literally unintentionally got cucked by a random citation to a random website that he picked out. It's embarrassing. It's so poetically beautiful that even in this, he's talking about color of law, the whole point of the citation of this website that he read as support for his position actually points to the opposite principle that he wants. The reason I was just letting it play is I was listening to, or I was looking it up just to see, because I'm like, what the fuck is this citation for? You always got to ask, what case is this for? What is this citation trying to say? Because you can clip words out of a out of a case and make it say a whole lot of stuff, but that doesn't mean it's the thrust of the case. In this case, the case was dismissed because the guy sued his private attorney who charged him more than he said he would charge him. Here you go. Wasn't color of law. You don't have a claim there. You might have a breach of contract claim or something like that. Not color of law because it's not a state actor. Danny says by system, he means Melinda. And Josh Moon and Matthew Harden are not state actors either.
You know, I had a shitty fucking public defender.
Oh, yeah. It's always someone else's fault when you assaulted someone and got charged for it and went to prison. Okay, Ethan Ralph.
You know, that didn't fucking do shit for me.
Weird. Yet another example where you encountered the law and you begged someone else to pay for it.
And didn't really defend me very well. So I fired her. And, you know, I wanted to represent myself because, you know, I just didn't think that the person that was defending me was capable. You know, they were just trying to, take a plea deal. Take the fucking plea deal. I don't want to defend you. You just take the plea deal so I can get paid.
Hell yeah. Dealing with you? Probably.
And you can get fucked over. That's what they wanted me to do. So, but here's the issue I had when I represented myself. I was incarcerated. You see, you know, I couldn't get bail.
If you would have kept your public defender, they would have pointed out to the judge that you have a constitutional right to bail. Maybe you should have tried that. Maybe you should have tried having the legal expert in the room, the public defender, get you bail before you fired her. Maybe that would have been a good choice. And
when I was incarcerated, they wouldn't allow me access to the legal library. You know, they had somebody make copies of similar case laws to my case and gave me legal definitions, and that was it. They gave me little copies. That was it. They wouldn't let me have access to the fucking legal books so I could have proper defense.
Or counterpoint, you had a public defender, and if you don't take the plea deal, they're obligated by law to defend you through trial. Counterpoint to your issue is you could have at least had an expert who had access to a law library paid for by the state at their fingertips on their own computer. You could have had that, but you fired her because she was an idiot who didn't know what she was doing, right? Which is why you stayed incarcerated, didn't have bail, and didn't have access to the law library. You're swinging 1,000, bro. You're doing fucking great.
They were acting under color of law.
Who?
They were violating my fucking rights.
Sure. I forgot the ever important right to access a law library while you're in county lockup. That's one of those big constitutional rights that exist. Now, do I think you should have access to a law library while you're in county lockup pending trial? Absolutely. I think you should be able to access all sorts of stuff online, whatever. You should have they should have a jail Westlaw subscription that you could use. I don't care how they do it. You should, but I don't remember that right. I don't remember that being anywhere. You were the smart one. You fired the lawyer.
And they weren't giving me a opportunity to where I could defend myself.
No, you had the opportunity to defend yourself. You just didn't think that the resources they gave you were adequate. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, the legal system's all fucked up.
Yep.
You know, there is so much trickery in their wordplay. Like I say,
they're tricking you with their words. Those words are confusing magic spells.
Magicians, they use word magic. You have to know their definitions. You have to know your case law. You got to know all this shit so you can have a proper defense.
Yeah.
Because if you don't state certain things in certain ways, we all know they just fucking dismiss it. Or they will use your ignorance so you get railroaded and fucked in the ass.
Yeah.
You know?
And by my count, you've been fucked in the ass 1, 2, 3 times by your own admission so far. So keep going.
Oh, it's a dirty game. It's a dirty system. The system needs to be changed. You know, I don't think that there's any hope for the United States. You know, You know, Nick, if you're a Christian, I saw a comment that somebody thought you were a Christian. If you're a Christian, do you actually think that the Almighty fucking agrees to the legal system here?
No.
Do you think that he thinks it's righteous?
Okay, we can have a lot of theology lessons on this, but the idea that a man-made institution is ultimately righteous at the end of the day, you can just go back and say all of our deeds are but dirty rags before the Lord. There is no righteousness but that of God himself. Like, what are we talking about here? Do I think the legal system is righteous? No, of course not. But you also have somewhere in Romans, I believe, where it says that no institution exists other than the ones God have set up. No authority, right? No powers and authorities on the planet other than those that God has allowed. And you got to render under Caesar, buddy. I don't know. But if you're going to try and pull like the Christian support of the legal system, there's no Christian support of the legal system. The legal system is amoral. It's not moral. It's not immoral. It's amoral. It has no basis in Christianity. It has no time for it. Otherwise, everybody would be forgiven and they could go out and rape people again to their heart's desire. That'd be the Christian system. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Do you think that the Almighty isn't going to fucking wipe these motherfuckers out that is oppressing his people?
Correct. I think that God has no plans to wipe out the people oppressing his people. In fact, after again, you're with an Orthodox Jew, right? After Noah, let's go back to the Old Testament. God said he wouldn't do that ever again. He made a rainbow for two reasons. One, so the gays could have something to make them happy. And two, that was the covenant. That was God's covenant with man, that he wouldn't wipe them out in a righteous justice, that wasn't going to happen. So yeah, I'm not so convinced. Also, many worse systems have existed throughout history than the one that we have. And God didn't come in and save the day. What theology?
It's already been prophesied. You know what I mean? The United States is already in judgment.
Yes.
It hasn't happened yet.
Okay. John Hagee, tell me about the blood moons next, please. Please. Yes. I need some. Let me go to Liberty University immediately. Oh, let me get Christ pilled real quick on how the judgment of God is coming down on the United States. Oh, yeah. Yes. We haven't heard this shit since fucking forever.
Judged already. You crooked motherfuckers have been judged already. It just hasn't happened yet. You know, the Almighty already prophesied what he's going to do to you. It's been prophesied. This fucking nation is going to get burned to
I can prophesy what the legal system's going to do to you.
the ground. This fucking nation is going to be toppled.
Yes.
Invaded. And the irony of it is
all the dirty goyim will be removed, right?
the nation that's going to do it, none of you motherfuckers are going to guess who it is. I know who it is. I read the prophecies.
He knows. I'm dying. He knows. He read the prophecy. Oh, Jesus. He knows.
Yeah, I found some secret books.
This motherfucker couldn't find a law book to save his life, but he found the secret books, which has the nation it's going to overtake the United States by prophecy. Oh, baby. He couldn't find a fucking book to keep him out of jail and save his life, but he could find the secret prophetic text. You can't write this. This is what my faith in the internet is restored. It's earlier, I came into the show. I was bummed out. I was bummed out to come do this show. I was like, God damn it. today's been such a fucking downer seeing all these people that I like just sitting here, just throwing and casting off any principles about cancel culture or free speech that they profess. They're just throwing them down the gutter. They don't care. They don't care because they got a W. They got a W in the vehicle of a fat fucking egg with a pedophile beard. And they're so happy about that. They're like, yes, even though it's not actually a W yet, maybe it'll turn into one at some point. I don't think so, but they're so happy. Right. And I was just bummed. I was like, fuck, I got to go do this show. I hate getting into internet shit fights with people. I don't like that. So that's going to be lame. I got to sit here and find all these fucking clips of Vito, and nothing makes me think I'm getting cancer more than like listening to clips of retarded people talk. And so I was bummed, man. My faith in the internet has been restored tonight. 100%. Marshall has got me. I believe him now because he found the secret books. He found the secret books and oh, it's so good. I can't take it.
And it's going to be Iran.
Why does it get better every time I press play? Oh, oh God. Every time I press play, it's funnier.
Iran is gonna fuck this country up. He's gonna rape your Iran's gonna rape your fucking women. He's gonna murder your babies. Your fucking babies are gonna get their fucking heads dashed upon fucking stones. They're gonna kill your babies. They're not fucking around. They're
just as soon as they get around to inventing air travel.
They're building a army right now. Iran is building an army. I've been following Iran. They got
FBI, open up. I've been following Iran. Oh, I'm probably burning some calories then, bro.
some fucking high-tech missiles.
Oh, Iran has high-tech missiles. Iran can't even hit Israel with missiles. Like, it's right there, and they can't even hit Israel with missiles.
They are tough people. And the Almighty is going to give them the courage. They're going to give them the strength. And when they come, they're going to fucking kill all you motherfuckers.
Not him, though, because he's martial law. He's gonna resist arrest. Oh, God damn it. Why do these people exist? Okay. Let's see. Hold on. I'm getting some fast stats here. So Iran's total army is 610,000 with some reserve. We have, let's see. The combined competent strength of the U.S. Army was 1 million soldiers. Just the Army. I don't know what the rest of the armed forces size are. What's the rest of the armed forces? Let's see. Do we have personnel? Total active military, 1,347,000, and then 800,000 reserves. That's it. That's it. So maybe he's right. Iran's got a big military, 610,000. And get all of them over here. They'll all Allahu Akbar on everybody, and we'll be dead. We'll be dead.
They're going to protect the righteous people, though. Iran will bring back the Yehudi to Jerusalem, as prophesied.
Iran is going to bring the Jews back to Jerusalem. Okay. I believe you. I what? I got no rebuttal. I got no citations on this.
But the prophecy says Persia, but Persia is what Iran used to be called.
I mean, probably the same thing. I mean, Persia, modern day Iran. I mean, if you call a Persian an Arab, they get really pissed off and defensive about it. But I mean, they're probably the same, though. I mean, it didn't say Iran; it said Persia. Kind of seems short-sighted of the prophecy to not understand that the Persians would lose dramatically to the fucking Arabs, right? Like, kind of seems like an oversight to the prophecy. I don't know. Maybe the Persians are going to make a giant comeback and overtake the Islamic State of their nation. Maybe but maybe not. I have no idea. Mandy Carvicka says, I don't understand why you rag on him. Seems like a perfectly stable young man who would never assault anybody. He's so articulate, clean, mentally stable, tech savvy, and innocent. Shame on you for laughing at him, Nick. Look, I have a habit of laughing at people.
Iran is modern day Persia. And you guys are going to get fucked up. The Almighty doesn't give a fuck.
It's amazing that when the prophecy he's referring to was written, Persia was the world's superpower. I mean,
About your opinions. You guys are going to die. Your children are going to die. We may not live to see it. I don't think that we're anywhere near close.
Master Blaster says, God damn it, Nick, take my money. The second he said Iran, I burst out laughing. Now everyone at work is looking at me funny. Can't take
to when this is going to happen. But Iran is going to fuck you motherfuckers up.
Just you, though, because he's a Jew and will be protected by the Iranians.
And you guys deserve it. All this bullshit that you're putting through these people, they know what the fuck you guys are doing to us, to the poor people here. They know what you guys are.
Iran is notorious for treating its poor extremely well, especially poor Jews.
Doing, and they hate you. They're going to wipe you off the fucking map.
I was listening to Iran TV the other day, and I just couldn't get over how many references it was to those poor Jews in America. We must death to America to save the poor Jews. That's all it was. Actually, every channel, that's all it said. It was talking about the plight of the impoverished Jews of America. Every one of Iran's 6 TV stations was talking about how the impoverished Jews of America need to be liberated from the Anglo-Goyim tyrants. It's weird. I don't know why Iran was talking about this so much, but that's literally everything they said. They're like, oh, God, those poor Jews over there, the impoverished poor Jews, we will take them back. We will bring them to Jerusalem. That's what we will do. Allah demands we will bring them to Jerusalem to escape tyranny of evil, oppressive American government. That's what they were doing. I mean, it was amazing. I was like, man, so maybe he's on to something.
They're going to fuck you up. They're going to take Israel too.
Wait, I thought they were going to bring them back to Jerusalem. They're going to bring you to Jerusalem. You just said they're going to bring the Yehudi to Jerusalem, that you'd be protected.
They're going to sack Jerusalem. And
I don't know. I'm now very confused. I don't understand how them bringing the Yehudi back to Jerusalem and sacking Jerusalem comport, unless they're taking you as slaves. Are the Jews going back into slavery again? Is that the idea? at Iran, and you're cheering. I would rather die by an Iranian sword than be a fucking Iranian slave. Like what the hell kind of what is
I can't wait.
me either? As my throat is being cut by a guy going, I'm gonna laugh because you're going to be a sex slave in Iranian dungeon. They'll be like, bring out the sex Jew, and that's you. And that's what they'll be like. I'll be dead, but you'll be a sex Jew, and they're just gonna. That's your fate, and you're like, I can't wait. I can't either. Oh God.
Because, it'll be over. This fucking bullshit system will be over.
And then you'll be under the much better Iranian savior system. Listen to how insane this person is. You have to be so many levels off the charts fucking madman to go, you know what? America's a shit system. I can't wait for Iran to take over and implement their much better system. Holy Christ, these people are insane.
And in ashes. Anyways, that's all I got.
There you go. There you go. What the hell else? What can I say after that? How do I follow that? That was brilliant. That was one of the best YouTube videos I've ever seen. He should cut the first 5 minutes of it, frankly. The last 5 minutes was absolute gold. Oh. Woohoo. Oh man. God, I want to have like a Jewish conspiracy YouTube channel, and I want to clip the last half of that, strip the audio, replace it with video of like, I don't know, awesome war pictures or whatever, and then like frames of the medieval the European knights losing in the Crusades, like some of that spliced in, and just have that last 5 minutes where he explains that Iran is coming to take over the United States. That would be, God, that would be great. That would be a gold video. And it'd be like, the Yehudi are coming home. That'd be the title of the video. Yehudi are coming home. That might be the title of the YouTube channel. If you could only weaponize this type of autism for money making. It reminds me, have you guys ever seen that movie Cheaper by the Dozen? I think it was. Steve Martin plays a dad, and he's a football coach, but he's got a shitload of kids. He's got like 12 kids or whatever. And there's one scene in Cheaper by the Dozen where one of the kids soaks, I think it's Ashton Kutcher's underwear in meat. They soak his underwear in meat while he's taking a shower or something. And then he puts his underwear. It's very implausible, but it doesn't matter. So then when he's around the dogs all like chase him, and they're just after him, and the kids are laughing. And Steve Martin has to discipline. He has to discipline all these kids. He's like, you can't do this. That's disrespectful. It's very bad. And then he disciplines the kids, right? Very stern. And he sends them away. And he turns to his wife. He goes, they soaked his underwear in meat. If I could just harness the creative power and use it. Like he's dying. Because where do you even come up with this idea? Where do you come? It was great. That's every time I see an insane person on YouTube with like 100 views, like this thing's been viewed by like 90 Kiwi farmers, right? Like 90 people have watched this video, and they're probably all on the farms. And that's fine. But I'm like, buddy, if you weren't recording, like doing a stupid screen record and you had some good graphics in there and you cut off the first 5 minutes, which was absolute insane ramblings, but boring insane ramblings, you just had that last 5 minutes of gold and said, Yehudi, you're coming home. Like it seems like a million view video to me. Maybe I'm stupid. It seems like you could turn that brilliant idiocy into something amazing. He might have to cut out like the parts where he's arguing with me and just talk about the prophecy. Just clip out only the prophetic parts and talk about what's going to happen to US. Like US will burn at the hands of ... That's the video title. Channel titles, Yehudi's coming home. Million views. Look, I can make it so that you and Melinda never have to ask the government to pay for a lawsuit again. Just let me consult for you. Give me 5% of what you make. You're going to make way more than me. Way more than me. I will help you. This sounds like the greatest YouTube channel. All I need is you and Melinda's combined insanity. And we need to distill it down into 5-minute videos. Oh my God. It would be great. It would be great. Wow. Not everything is. Not everything. Nothing can ever be as funny as reality. Okay. Let's get the justice chats and the super chats for today. And then we'll wrap up. Sorry, guys. I owe a lot of Twitch hours. I know, but I'm still playing real life catch up off of YouTube. And I'm coming up on some hard deadlines here. So sorry, I just can't do Twitch today. Plus I've got that early class to teach tomorrow. We're almost at 1,500 likes though, and then I'm obligated to have another drink, which is dangerous because I've already had several. But I will read all the chats here. We've got, where do we start? Colonel H says, the more I argued with Vito, the better I came to know his dialectic. First, he counted on the stupidity of his adversary, and then, when there was no other way out, he himself simply played stupid. Gradually, I began to hate him. Oh, of course, you guys passed the 1,500 like mark. Abnormally average. I am fully recovered from the coof. I mean, I will cough on occasion. I had a case of pneumatitis, which is a lung inflammation. They gave me a steroid. It knocked most of it out, but I occasionally will cough. But it's like, I might cough like 4 or 5 times a day. Okay, here we go. Yeah, well, Vito's just dumb. I don't know how else to say it. Pepsi Man says, Vito is not principled free speech advocate. He's just defending Netflix because he wants cuties too, due to being a pedo. Bad Dragonite says, without a hint of sarcasm, when I saw that Twitter clip earlier, I didn't recognize Vito at first and literally thought it was some autistic dude freaking out over his broken sign. I had originally someone tweeted a picture of Vito to me at the sign with the sign at the rally, and they said, "What do you think of this?" or whatever. And I tweeted back something like, "I think they should stay away from children," some pedo joke. But then I thought to myself, I was like, that looked like Vito, but there's no way that was actually Vito. So I deleted it because I didn't want to call some rando person a pedo. And then it turned out it was Vito. I should have left it up. I now regret that, but I genuinely, I thought about it and I was like, oh man, I just assumed that was Vito because it was a fat moron. But why would Vito be at a protest? And then all the news started flooding in. I was like, oh my God, no, that was him. It's too bad. Too bad. Silky Johnson says, Nick, I have a buddy that hates Alex Jones and approves his mass yeeting. He used the same "it's their platform and can remove what they want" argument. Tried to point out that how that's a bad thing because speech is important and all angles should be heard. Yeah, you can't though. He says, and it should be up to the people whether to engage it or not. Like all things, his main point was the Sandy Hook thing, but I said he's allowed to have those opinions and 230 protects the platforms, but that's ignored. And it was a Democrat gay op too. Here's the thing. Alex Jones has retracted everything he said about Sandy Hook and apologized for it. He said one place he said it, or in his deposition, he said it was a type of psychosis where because the mainstream media and mainstream sources were lying so much that he was automatically willing to believe everything was fake, that anything they reported on as true was untrue. And he said that that's not who he is anymore. He apologized. He said that's not what he believes. But no one will grant him that apology. No one will allow him to live down that he said that parents of kids were crisis actors. No one will do it. Everyone will hold that against him forever. Which is a shame, in my opinion. But that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. Unanswered question says, so did Vito menstruate over Alex Jones showing up on Tim Pool's show all those times? Or the time he was on Steven Crowder's show? I highly doubt it. So why did he get sand in his gigantic Kraken mouth vagina over him being on Friday Night Tights? You know the answer to that. Because Vito has tried to get on to Friday Night Tights. And they have never had him on. That's the answer. That's all you need to know. That is why Vito was salty at Nerdrotic, because he has asked him, please have me on the show. Because Vito wants to be included in the group of people talking about it. He talks about it in the Dick Show interview. I didn't play that clip, but it's there. If you go watch that hour-long segment of me versus Vito, it's on the Dick Show YouTube page. You can go find it. It's really simple. Nick versus Vito, I think is what it's called. And you can check it out. And he says, I asked them if they could be on, or if I could be on their show, and they didn't let me. And he didn't ask to be on the Alex Jones show, to clear that up. Some people thought he asked to be on the Alex Jones show, and they said, no, that's not the show. He asked to be on the show in general. Friday Night Tight cycles through a lot of different guests. They have a broad range of opinions that come on. They have a whole bunch of different people. Vito's salty because he got rejected. Now he calls them all stupid grifting retards, right? That's his defense, right? Well, they're just stupid grift. Vito has personally asked them to be on the show, and they said, nah. That's embarrassing. Okay, next. Cal Clay says, hey, Nick, if you could give us a laugh, please watch Paradox Dev QA. It's only 58 seconds, but it makes me smile at how easy young people break down. It's retrospective humor, only 1 month-old meme. Also, I live in Calgary, like Makowski, government or anarchy, which has freedom. What the fuck? Paradox. It's 1 minute long. Paradox Dev versus QA. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yes, I've seen this. But we'll pull it up real quick. All right, here we go. Let me put my headphones on. Oh, fucking hell, I didn't share the audio. Hold on. All right, here we go.
This is a square. Can you guess which spot that goes in?
The square.
That's right. It goes in the square hole.
Yes. Okay.
And how about this rectangle? That one
Also the square.
that goes in there too.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got this thin rectangle.
The thin
Can you guess
rectangle.
where that goes?
The thin rectangle.
That's right. It goes in the square hole. And up next, a cylinder.
The circle.
I think that goes in
The circle.
the square hole. Now, we've also got this semicircle right here. Do you see a slot that would fit
The semicircle.
semicircle?
The semicircle.
That's right. It's the square hole. Okay. Up next, the triangle. We know what hole that goes
The
into,
triangle.
right?
Triangle.
That's right. The square hole. And up next, we have the arch.
The arch. The
And
arch.
you guessed it.
The arch.
It goes in the square hole.
Oh, it is beautiful. It was when I saw it the first time, I laughed quite a bit. As that was great. Goes in the square hole. Okay. So there you go. Thank you, Cal Clay, for bringing that up. I do enjoy that meme video. Not applicable says, what are you dunking on Piggo the Piggy Boy, Vito? You mean why? Because he's a disingenuous pile of trash. Not applicable says Vito's real name should be Porky the Porkwit. Mario Carter 13 says EVS to Eichenwald. Thanks for support, but no thanks. Really? Not applicable says Porky the Pig is more principled than Vito and is him. Not applicable also says, wonder which sock account Porco is watching on, by the way. Alice Lovely says, how has your old intern been? Fantastic. Joha Wa Al Himar says, hate speech should be mandatory. All non-hate speech should be illegal. Like, do people not get that the intern thing was tongue-in-cheek? Like, that it was completely fictitious? That was the whole... The intern was not like a person. That was a joke because of Twitter's stupid rules. Yeah, that was that. Oh boy. Not applicable says Porcus already deleted 2 of my comments. He also says Vito's gravity influences all optical equipment. Terra Cannon 876 says oh man, the internet is beautiful. Terra Cannon 876 says, to them, principles don't exist because they think it's just a tool to be used to win the argument. That's why they tend to flip-flop. They will change position based on what benefits them. Not applicable says their argument is literally jokes get people killed. Yep, it is. That's their argument. And the argument is that Alex Jones's words get people killed too. Awig, I did not admit to ban evasion. I have not broken the rules of Twitter on my Ricada Media account. Grimm's Bar says, define harm, physical injury, especially that which is deliberately inflicted. Mario Carter 13 says, listening to Vito causes harm to the brain. Zephael says, basic philosophy logic should be required education. Yu Coidal says, currently hypothesizing his stance. If someone lied to a guy about his girlfriend cheating and the boyfriend went to yeet the guy who the girlfriend was cheating on him with, that's harm caused by a lie. Possibly. Genshikin 2006 says, Vito should be canceled for being around in public, being morbidly obese, because it says that being fat has no health consequences. Next, he says, Vito's weak, needs a cord, single step dunce. Not applicable says, Vito is proof it's mentally easier to obey power. Hell nah says, this Vito guy sounds like he doesn't own a doghouse. Nix Hex says, Vito makes me miss Maddox. At least he was funny. Yeah, that was the thing. Maddox was so broken as a person that it was funny to listen to him, because you're like, people can't, like, he must be joking. It was actually kind of sad when you found out that Maddox was serious. It was actually sad when you found out Maddox was serious, because you're like, oh, I thought you were writing satire. Turns out you were writing nonfiction. The world was reading satire. God, it was great. Lynn, no, we're not still on Vito. That's just where these are the early super chats. They were a while back. Jason Smoot says, great stuff. Take a shot with me. I just finished my gin. I do not need any more. Thank you. Offlameo says, ask Vito if his organs have liquefied yet. Speaking of that, but not that, did you guys see that they put a pig kidney into a human? Did you guys see that shit? I do not want a pig kidney. I don't want a pig liver. I don't want a pig heart or whatever. Fuck that shit. No, thank you. But yeah, they put a pig kidney into a human and it worked. It worked. No, thank you. Goody564 says, Vito is a gaping asshole that even an adult actress with a rosebud would be disgusted by. He silly. That's disgusting. He silly says, silence all fat people. Kenny Jones says, experience tells me that the internet as a whole doesn't care about principles. Right and left are irrelevant. Only amusement is a determining factor. Yep. That's what this whole first part was about. Zevale says, happy birthday to Andrew War Snowboard. Andrew, it's your birthday today? Happy birthday, you bastard. Cars in Depth says, did you see how Dick Masterson counter-protested the Netflix LGBTQ, et cetera, employees? Yes. We spent a lot of time talking about Vito, who's got most of the attention, but Dick was there as well. And that's good. See, the one thing I'll say about Dick is he is consistently anti-cancellation. That is one thing that Dick has been completely consistent on. And that's good. He does not embrace the cancellation of people or their things that I've seen. Maybe I missed it if he did. Jason Smoot says, BS, take another one. Well, how can I turn that down? You guys promote healthy behavior. By the way, guys, for Andrew's birthday, what you should do is follow him on Twitch. And I'm hoping he will share a link to his Twitch account. Follow him on Twitch. He often does a pre-show Twitch playthrough and stuff like that. Give him a follow on Twitch. Show him some love over there. It's a great birthday gift for a streamer is to just go follow him. Just go check out their channel. So that'd be awesome. So Andrew, if you want to share your link, buddy, I don't have it handy, but give him a follow there. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. It's twitch.tv/A_war snowboard. So all one word on the war snowboard. So give that a check, and that'll be good. And Andrew, you're going to be streaming tonight, you said? That's good. Check it out. Check him out. He's a good dude. I've known Andrew for a very, very long time. Like 15, 16 years, something like that. And he's a good, solid guy. So go give him a follow. See if you like his content. And that's a great birthday present for streamers. Shadow Fenrir 24 says, what the combat vet forgot is the U.S. military's fighting force is a volunteer fighting force. No one forced him to sign up. Not Applicable says, yeah, that veteran should move to China. Moron. Backgoat says, Love Ridge. Bought them for me and the boys last Christmas. They love them. I love mine too. I bought them the knives. We'll find out if good. Oh, do they have the knives back in stock? They were out of stock for a really long time. Delacourt says, if your cards have a tap pay chip in them, when you check out next, try tapping your wallet to the pin pad. That's how you can check it, though I would recommend it only contain one such card. Mine only does. So that I'll give it a shot. I'll test it live. C. Goody hates the ridge knives. Hates them. I like them. Mine's fine, but I'm not a knife fanatic, so I couldn't tell you. Their knives are like 120 to 140 bucks. Some people think that's a little spendy. They have this pattern on them, this carbon fiber pattern on them. Like I said, I like mine just fine, but other people don't. That's okay. John Jelaine says, here's a little dough to buy a bigger bottle next time. I haven't been to the liquor store. I was going to go, but I was busy all day. I was working. I did a video on Artur Pawlowski. It did terrible. Absolutely terrible on views. If you didn't get a notification of it, it's about how Canada has killed free speech. And if you give that a look-see, I'd appreciate it if you happen to miss it. But yeah, I did a video on that, and then I did live chat Wednesday, and then after live, and I was writing and researching during and after live chat Wednesday, and then my wife informed me that we had dinner guests. It's like, oh, so I have to try and make dinner. So I made dinner, and then we had our guests over, and then they left, and I had a few minutes before the stream, but that was me clipping video. That's okay. Angry Baneling says, Nick, Dune 2021 is solid. I give it 8 out of 10. Watch it. It's out? I didn't think Dune was actually out yet. Nick's Hex says, Kermit voice doing a Trump impression. Ravioli, give me the formuloli. I don't know how. That's not a Trump impressionable line for the Kermit. That's very weird. Yellow Flash's genetic material says, does Flash have to beat the brakes off you to get a Chad Dad stream, or does crying during Gundam disqualify him as a Chad Dad? He's never talked about it. Oh, damn. I didn't realize that Dune is out. I don't look at what's out in theaters. I never check. The Ridge knife went up to 160. Damn. Last I checked, it was like 140. Not that that's a huge difference, but not applicable says we would know because China would have nuked her by now. Tech Priest Alex says, hey, Nick, I must ask you the important question of the internet. What are your top 3 monster girl types? I don't even know what types of monster girl there are. Is there like the tentacle one? Like the cat one? The demon one? Like what are the monster girl types? I don't even know. So hit me in the chat with those while I read others. Not applicable says had a lot of past tense there, pal. Mario Carter 13 says suddenly Melinda looks better by comparison. Maybe that's his job. Maybe he's supposed to go out and look dumb so that Melinda looks smarter. Naga. Oh, the snake lady. Succubus, slime, and cat girls, demon, dragon girls, cupids. Oh my God. No, stop this. You stop this. You need to stop simping for Japanese drawings. Those drawings don't even have their own military. Malik Fox, it says, by the way, Raggeds, I just made Rep 2 in July, and my boss's boss already told me they're considering me for Rep 3, even though I'm not even out of training yet. Tell your boss's boss that you have a fiber sale, a hot home fiber sale in an alternative situation, and you think you can close the deal, and then we'll make it happen, right? Like you and me can make fiber internet to my house happen. I'm willing to pay a lot of money to do it. So you tell your boss you got a hot lead on a fiber deal that you think you can work a private contract on for a business in central Minnesota. See if he bites. See if he'll sell you. See if that'll get you promoted to rep 3. Malik says, I see he took my advice to start pausing when he makes an argument against the video he's referencing. It's not completely hopeless, just stupid. Funatsu96 says, Utah man didn't pay too. Mario Carter 13 says, Informa Gov penis. Not applicable says, wait, Marshall says he's a ravenous criminal then? I mean, he describes several criminal charges that he lost. It's all the government conspiracy, though. William Endo, Google Fiber is not out in my area. I would take any fiber. I really want a 1 gig upload. I really want a 1 gig upload. I'd take 100 meg upload, but I really want that 1 gig. 1 down, 1 up. Damn. For streaming, oh, it's amazing. Not one of us says, is it possible to become a judge without being a lawyer first? In some jurisdictions, yes. I think I could be a judge, but I don't think my soul would survive being a lawyer. Some jurisdictions will allow you to be elected judge without a law degree, without a law license. It's rare. It's hard, but it does happen. Starlink doesn't do gig up, and it has some latency stuff that I'm curious how it'll work with streaming. I just don't know. Blink says it might cost you 50 grand, Lamau. And like this is my business. This is what I do. Having the stability and the upload rate of fiber is extremely valuable to me, and writing it off as a business expense, not the worst thing in the world. Not the worst thing in the world. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't have 50 grand sitting in my bank account right now. I don't have it right now, but, you know, don't, I just realized that it sounded like I was like 50 grand. Who can't throw that around? I can't throw 50 grand at a problem, but I'd be willing to figure out a solution maybe. That's the thing. Paul Dervey says, Marshall in the streets, simp in the sheets. Mario Carter 13 says, wants to process, dude's brain can't process. Malik Fox, it says, I love how his definition of appearance is the basis of his entire argument, and he's totally wrong on everything because of that. Digitalis says, Marshall Blathers is making me sterile. I can literally feel my gametes cannibalizing each other. Captain Kerfuffle says, please look up this idiot's court document. Sounds hella funny. They're all in West Virginia State Court, I would assume. I have no idea. Maybe the Kiwis have found them. I don't know. Malik Foxon says, imagine waiving your rights and then whining after. Wrestler Town says, I'm so glad we stuck with Marshall to the end. Me too. It got so much funnier. Psycha Soap says, how did he go from Randy Weaver to Charles Manson? Not So Handsome Slayer says, I feel more retarded than ever after hearing Marshall. Me too. Me too. Lil Meme says, wife enjoys the roasts of Mr. Martial Law. Printer God says he has intel that Iran is gearing up their Space Force in preparation for the Great Yehudi. Someone get this guy to the Pentagon. Heard we're giving out 4-star admiral slots this week. Yes. I don't know if Melinda would be happy with what he needs to do to get that admiral slot, though. Thomas Fenton says, this is getting nice and spicy. I just rewinded and showed my Yamaka coworker this, and he is rolling all over the place laughing right now. Got me dying. Oh, boy. Angry Baneling says, I'm so sorry I hated on Melinda Scott segments. I didn't know this is coming. 10 out of 10. Please do more EFAPs of this guy if he keeps making video responses. We'll see. The other thing I have queued up, I didn't have time, and I'm not going to do it live without having it actually prepared, but is getting Melinda's responses on Kiwi Farms. Melinda's Kiwi Farm posts are a gold mine of stupidity. Just the same as Marshall. It's a little different because it's not, video, but they're as insane. Roji Mata says, you got to remember Melinda's husband is a sovereign citizen. There's no reasoning with them. Melinda is more than likely one as well. Carson Depp says, in fact, 20% of U.S. Jews live under the poverty line. That's an interesting fact. There you go. So that's all the more reason for Iran to come invade us. Lynn says, thanks for the entertainment, Nick. I appreciate your wealth of information. Comedy gold tonight. Dude, tonight was really funny for me. Batgoat says, I'm a sex Jew. Timothy Reaper says, how many ninjas are in the Iranian army? That's a good question. We've learned from statistics and data that one ninja is worth 26, I think it was, Special Forces, Air Force, or Special Forces, not Air Force, but Army pilots or whatever. 26 Special Forces pilots, one ninja. If the ratios maintain, I mean, they'll destroy us. Didn't some of the American ninja movies happen in Arab countries? Lots of ninjas there. Joshua Sanabria says, I thought Ford was the one that invented interchangeable parts. Turns out it was God the whole time. Kiddo says, submitted vax exemption at work. Use Viva Barnes' example as a base. Boss hopes I'll get the jab if rejected. Hope I'll keep my job, but I can't relent. Some things are worth more than money. Good luck and Godspeed to you. I hope you get the exemption so you don't have to make that compromise choice. I really do. Carson Depp says VA Tech is trying to suppress Joe Biden chants. Oh, Virginia Tech. Just say, you don't have to say F Joe Biden anymore. You can just chant, let's go, Brandon. Everybody knows what it means. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Just do the embrace and love the let's go, Brandon. Everybody knows what you mean. Not applicable says cat girl, dragon girl, slime girl, get this D. E.M. Dubois says monster girls suck compared to Twi'leks. What the fuck are you? Malik Foxon says my favorite is Nagas because it's so close to No one important says, so I fired my lawyer because she wanted me to take a plea deal of my assault charges and ended up representing myself in jail with no resources. I'm so competent. Also secret books, quote, not a crazy person. I love it. Look, you need to probably take the plea deal because if you go to trial, you're going to lose. Oh, you bitch, you're so stupid. I'm going to fire you and represent myself. I'll show you. And then I lost because the court was against me. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? Oh my gosh. Cinema Queen says, I actually don't. Lol, I logged off that week to read more. What week? What are you talking about? What are you talking? What are you responding to? I missed it. Oh, you don't know what Let's Go Brandon is. Okay, I'll explain that real quick. I just realized there was a like a NASCAR race and all the audience was chanting fuck Joe Biden. And the reporter on scene was like, the audience is chanting let's go Brandon, like that. And so now let's go Brandon is the euphemism for fuck Joe Biden because they immediately, it couldn't possibly be people saying fuck Joe Biden. So they actually tried to cover it by saying it was let's go Brandon. It was a beautiful moment. A beautiful moment. The best, wonderful moment. Totally great. The best moment. Let's see. Bad Dragonite says Vito used to be described as dollar store quarter black Garrett, but Garrett is actually likable. Also, Garrett lost a bunch of weight and Vito found it. Damn. There you go. B-Man 0013. I have gig internet from Spectrum where I live. It's gig down, but it tops out at like 36 meg to 40 meg up, and that's only when it peaks. With all the devices in my house, remember 5 kids, 4 of them have iPads. We got Lady Rackets' stuff. We got TVs and shit that all run off the internet. It can still get kind of messy. And also, fiber just has less maintenance issues or not maintenance issues, but like random dropping and stuff like that than cable. But no, I do have the cable gig service, but it still doesn't have. I want the gig upload. I want the gig upload. Give me that fucking upload. All right. Okay, guys. That's it. I got to piss really bad. I want to remind the chat of a couple things real quick.
YouTube's consequences, we don't want you on here, and I agree with that consequence.
Do you flag videos like that often?
I'll flag stuff if it's like hate speech, like legitimate people saying let's kill
my
blacks.
fucking God.
There you go, guys. Catch you later. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.